It's time for Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Quick pitch to Walter, looking for the record, cuts back, he's got it, he's out of it at 25 to the 26-yard line. Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rusher. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship. Chicago has won the Stanley Cup. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will go to Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this TGI Mickey Ficky Friday. It's the weekend, baby. Guys, I'm your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Man, oh man, we got a lot to talk about, and I love the fact that you're with us. Listen, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. Now, if you haven't followed us on Facebook, what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Go to Facebook, type in SportsZone Chicago, click like, all right? Also, go to Shawn and Maya in the morning, Shawn and Maya in the morning, and click like there as well. Now, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, excellent. In the words of C. Montgomery Burns, okay? If you're not, what are you doing? All right? Do me a favor. Go to YouTube, not right now, but on our commercial break. Go to YouTube, type in SportsZone Chicago, and click subscribe, okay? Not only will you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, but you'll get our other four, kind of 1, 2, 3, 4 live shows for a total of 5 live shows that we have throughout the week. Okay. And a ton of podcasts over there as well. And if you're listening to us on the app, double excellent. Okay. You don't have our app? What are you doing? What's wrong with you? Okay. Listen, if you don't have our app, here's what I need you to do. I need you to go to wherever you get your apps from. Okay. Google Play, iTunes, Amazon, Walmart, Target, Sam's Club, Costco, wherever you get your apps from. Okay. Go there, type in SportsZone Chicago, download SportsZone Chicago, and you can take us with you on the go. Okay? Excellent. Now, listen, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at SM_mornings, at SM_mornings, or at SportsZone Shy. That's CHI, at SportsZone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. Want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I mean, nice and easy for you, folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Snapper. All one handle, at the Shawn Sierra. You see it at the bottom of the screen right here. Now, if you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. If you want to follow her on Instagram, because you do it just for the gram, you can just follow her at Maya_Akai. That's MAYA_AKAI. Listen, we have a phenomenal, when I say phenomenal, I am not bull jiving. We have a phenomenal show for you, but we need you. First, we need you to get interactive with us today. Okay, so whatever platform you're watching us from, whether it be Facebook, whether it be our YouTube page, or whether it's our app, hey, whichever one it is, just leave a question or comment right there on the page, on the platform you're using, and our super producer, Ivan, will put it up there. And I would be remiss if I didn't bring him out. Man, he is the man that makes everything run smoothly over here. He's the man behind the curtain. We call him the Wiz, but I like to call him my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife, Ivan Vargas. Ivan, what's up, Papa?
What's up, Shawn? Did I get the audio right this morning? Is it good?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Oh, perfect. Awesome. That's like the first time in a month. What's up, man? Good morning. Great day yesterday. It was a great day yesterday.
Wow. Yes, it was, Doctor.
I felt, look, not only did the weather, the weather break and we got some sunshine yesterday, but the Bulls and the Hawks. I mean, how about those Hawks? I thought they were dead in the water.
Yep.
I thought they were dead in the water, but yeah, man, great stuff. It looks like a gloomy day, but hopefully it'll get better. Looking forward to a great show, though.
It's going to be. It's going to be. Listen, when I say we got a great show for you, I am not bull jiving. 10 o'clock. Okay, we welcome Josh Hicks from We Are Regal Radio. We're talking a little Bulls action, Bulls talk here at 10 o'clock, and then at 11 o'clock. You know what time it is. Every Friday, 11 o'clock, my man, the myth, the legend himself, DDP, the draft Dr. Phil Atoshin, talking Bears. We're going to get a chance to sit down and talk with Phil about the entire the entire draft. All right, Phil was with us last Friday, and we got to talk about the first round pick, and we were both excited. We were both ecstatic, happy as pigs in slop about the acquisition, the drafting with Justin Fields. But this was before. Okay, we drafted Tevin Jenkins, before we drafted Larry Borum, before we drafted Khalil Herbert, before we drafted Daz Newsome, before we drafted, okay, Thomas Graham. Man, oh man, oh man. And before we drafted the Tonga, Mr. Tonga himself. So, man, let's make sure you don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here. And listen, if you're at work, okay, if you're at work, here's what you got to do. You got to get one of those earpieces. This is why I tell you, okay, download the app, okay? Or you can leave it on Facebook. That's cool, okay? That's cool, okay? And just have a Bluetooth earpiece, okay? Just put it in your ear. That's all. And you can listen to us, okay? Or if you just want to listen to uninterrupted and you can't do it at work, you know what? You can always go back and check us out on Facebook. We're there. All the shows are streamed there live, and they're categorized. So you know what? Like Ben Stiller said, do it. Do it. Do it. man, what a heck of a show we got. I'm telling you, I'm excited for it. Don't forget 10 o'clock. And don't forget at 10 o'clock, who's going to sit with me for the 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock hour? Our guy, Kenneth Davis. He's joining us as well. So I'm fired up to have Kenneth join us. And we're going to talk, he's the new host of the Under Center podcast on NBC Sports Chicago. So he's going to join us, and he has a lot of Bears talk ahead. So we're going to look forward to that because, man, I told you we are awesome today. We have a phenomenal show, and you know what? We need you to get interactive. Man, who we got? I didn't even get to see. I know you put some people up there already, Marvin, but I was doing my thing. I was doing my thing, and I didn't hear it. Marshawn, what's up, Papa? How we doing? Who else we got here? Jamar Harp. Jamar, what's up, baby? That's SHAWN. It's on the bottom of my. It's all right, buddy. Jamar Harp, he's one of the hosts of he's the host of one of the hot shows here on SportsZone Chicago. That's Sports 101. If you ever, let me tell you something. You will come away. You listen to Jamar Harp, okay? You will come away going, "Holy shit! I had no idea. I had no idea about this particular thing about this sport or that sport." Make sure you tune into Jamar Harp's show, Sports 101, every Wednesday. Now, don't worry, I'm just busting your balls, Jamar. Every Wednesday here from 8 to 9 o'clock. It's, man, whew. You talk about, that's why we call it Sports 101, because you leave and like, damn, I learned something today. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, track, auto racing, a lot. Great, very informative. Great show. Make sure you tune in here. We got the factor one. How much can an improvement in tackle position have on an NFL offensive line like the Bears? Is that a rhetorical question? Ooh, Charlie. Factor one. Listen, we're going to talk about that. It's going to make a huge difference. Okay, but it's not just important. Well, here's why it's going to be important, and I'll delve into it a little further in a minute. But when you have two bookend tackles and your quarterback realizes for the most part, okay, that he doesn't have to worry about his backside, and he can always obviously see the front side tackle and what he's doing. But when he doesn't have to worry about that backside, okay, it allows him to have a lot more confidence in that pocket. It allows him to stand tall, maybe hold the ball just a tad longer if a receiver's routes, taking time to develop, okay, or if it's a sense of comfort because there's a clock that goes on in the quarterback's head, okay. There's a clock that goes on. So by 4 seconds, that ball's got to be out by 4. It's usually 3.5 seconds. That ball's got to be out. Okay. And if you got a good offensive tackle on the left side, okay, protecting your blind side, and you have comfort, you could take that whole 4 seconds most of the time. Okay. You might even get 5. Okay. Depending on it. So it's going to help the quarterback situation. And then from a run game perspective, let me tell you something. If you have a guy on the end, the tackles, who can maul and handle the defensive ends that are lined up over them, okay? Because we've already seen that the Bears can run in between the tackles, okay? We've seen that. Now, if we can get outside the tackles, because our tackles, the two tackles that we drafted, like to maul people, and let's not get it twisted. They're going to have their share of screw ups because they're going to be going against professionals, against all pros, against first team all the NFLs, going to maybe some future Hall of Famers. But they're going to have their success of successes as well. So you're going to see them be able to run the ball everywhere through that line. And when you can run the ball, because your offensive line is providing holes for your running back, guess what? They can't come after the quarterback. Okay, they have to stop the run first. They have to. So the factor one, that's how this an improvement in tackles, in the 2 tackles, which I think is an upgrade, can help an offensive line. It's going to help not just an offensive line, our offensive line. So great stuff. Well, listen, guys, you know how we do. The first second of every show is called Top of the Morning.
Just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
Guys, our Top of the Morning segment is powered by the Chicago Crusader newspaper. Okay. And our first Top of the Morning topic, listen, unfortunately Joseph can only come on Wednesdays, and Jason sits in for him sometimes, but he's got more. He also works for the Chicago Crusader, Jason Palmer, and they got him. Can you believe this, Ivan? What the hell are they doing? The Chicago Crusader actually has them doing work. What the hell's all that about, dude?
Oh, they got jobs to do?
Yeah, they got jobs to do. They expect them to do it like during my show.
I thought they were just hanging out.
During my show. Like, wait, they're doing my show. What the hell, Bobby? So anyway. All right, listen, the Bulls, big victory yesterday. I should have worn some Bull stuff today. You know what? I don't know what I was thinking.
Typically you're dressed down when something big happens. I see the Warriors shirt.
Yes.
That's dope. I think that's dope, but
and it's not the Golden State Warriors for all you knuckleheads.
Typically you're dressed down head to toe. But I mean, these are big wins. Not all wins, but big wins like this. You're you're pumped up and ready to go. At least you got the what's it called? The shooting jersey on? Yeah, the shooting jersey typically, or the hat. But,
you know what? Maybe
you're a little bear today. It's a little bear.
Well, it is Flashback Friday. Okay, so it is Flashback Friday, so I'm comfortable wearing this, but I should be. You know what, Ivan? I think I might change. I might at the half hour. I might put on some Bull stuff, or maybe by 10 o'clock because we're going to talk to Josh Hicks. Okay, some Bulls, and maybe I'll get that shooting jersey on. But and for those of you who don't know,
as long as there's no wardrobe malfunctions.
No wardrobe. So you see my shirt, the Warriors. Okay, and for those of you of a certain age, you know what that is. As I said, that's not the Golden State Warriors. It's Warriors. Come out and play. If you haven't seen the Warriors, man, I don't know if I can't rock with you that hard, man. I'm sorry. I can't rock with you that hard. So if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But first off, I want to topic the Bulls, baby. Only the Bulls. Only the Bulls. Bulls beat the Charlotte Hornets yesterday, 120-99. Man, they laid the smackdown on that candy ass yesterday. Vucevic leads the way with 29 points, 14 boards. Woo, Charlie. All 5 starters were in double figures. Kobe White, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. Zach LaVine, 13 points. And P. Will, almost a double-double, 11 points, 9 rebounds. Let me tell you something. The way that they played yesterday, that is the way I need them to play for the majority of the season. Yesterday was one of the games the first game that I saw that Vooch and LaVine coexisted beautifully. Their chemistry was fine. They didn't worry about who's taking the shots. They really fed off of each other, and I was ecstatic about it. And yesterday was Vooch's day. All right, and LaVine's like, okay, hey, Papa, you got it. You're the hot man. You go. Okay, this is what I want, because now you got 2 studs, and if one's having a phenomenal game, you keep feeding that joker. If it's Zach, then you feed Zach. Luis, what's up, Papa? Thank you for tuning in. If it's Zach who's on, then you keep feeding Zach. If it's Vooch who's on, you keep feeding Vooch. Okay, that's what I liked about this game yesterday. That their ability, okay, to find the hot guy, which was Vooch, and get him the rock. That's what you need, man. That's what you need. So I was happy as a pig and slop with the victory yesterday. And even though Charlotte tried to come back, because it's the NBA and everybody makes a run. They were like, hold on, player. This ain't happening. They got it to like 18 or 16 or something, and the Bulls were like, hold on, player. And they put it right back up to 20. And it was a nice, easy game for them to coast throughout the thing. How did you like it, Ivan? Oh, Ivan's busy. Ivan's actually doing work. He can't talk today. We actually got him. He's actually working. Nate, what's up, baby? Nate, how you doing, man? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Well, anyway.
I enjoyed it. Like sorry, I was busy real quick.
You're actually doing work.
I was like this. I was like, wait. No, but I enjoyed it. Look, I like the continuity that Vooch and Levine have been building. I like how this team has been slowly but surely coming along, and I think that's exactly how Billy Donovan and Mo Cheeks want to build it. They want to make sure the foundation is secure before they go ahead and start trying to go ahead and take it to a 2.0 or trying to do too much with some younger players. Also, they don't have. Like I said, they're lacking on the bench. I still feel like they're lacking on the bench. They need another shooter coming off the bench with it, and like we talked about a point guard coming in next year. I like a White coming off the bench with another shooter. You know what I mean? I like that. Is it going to be Lowry? I don't think so, because all fingers are pretty much pointing to Lowry being out. I don't know. I feel like the Bulls are right where we want them to be. I know they're not. They're kind of on the outside looking in, but I feel like regardless of if they don't make the playoffs and they don't get a top 4 or 4 pick, regardless of that, you got Vooch. That's your pick. Like that's what you were sacrificing. So you have your big man, you have your center. I mean, I would still be happy about where the Bulls are headed, man. I really am. I think the progress that they have them, the pace and their progress has been steady, and it's been on a steady upward trend. Just keep doing what they're doing. Just keep doing. It's baby steps right now, Shawn. We saw where this organization was last year, just last year, and look where it's at now. We have hope.
It's the first time that it's one of the few times that they've really played together. Okay, Zach. I'll tell you one thing. I tend to dog a lot of the players today, nowadays, just because of the lack of toughness that I feel that they have. But let me tell you, Zach LaVine's one of those guys. I think now the fact that he's the alpha here, okay. And I'm not going to compare it to whether or not he could have been an alpha back in the 80s and 90s, because he's not playing in the 80s and 90s. He's playing now. He's competitive. And I can tell you, those 11 games that he missed, I can tell you he was pissed. He was pissed because remember, he had COVID. That was the issue. And so he was unable to contribute. Now, what did they go, 4-7 in those games, I think? Imagine 2 or 3 of those games going the other way. Okay. So now we're looking at 7-4, 8-3. That's a whole different ball game now. Okay. And I know Zach is, it's not his fault. It's not like he intentionally went out and got COVID. But it's a situation where he's trying to make it right. He's trying to make sure, because they are mathematically still in the playoff hunt. Okay. Obviously they need some help because right now they're on the outside looking in, but he's coming out, and this is the type of effort. See, Ivan, this is what I'm talking about. This sense of urgency is what I need most of the season. You don't understand. You don't have time. When you play like this, game 1, game 2, game 3, game 15, game 20, game 45, okay, when you play like this, guess what? It becomes a habit. It becomes a habit. And I understand there's 82 games and it's a long season. I think it was only 72 this year, right? But it's a long season, okay? But you still have to come out with this sense of urgency because you don't have time. Because there you go, and the season's over. Look at all the times that they screwed up. Look at all the games that they gave away with horrible turnovers, with not boxing out, terrible passing. Okay. Oh, how many missed threes do they have? Missed free throws do they have? All these things add up. So now Don't come in and say, "Oh, look, we got to do it. No. It's like cramming for a test. If you do it, if you're in college or in high school and you go along with the syllabus, you go and you stay on task with where you're at in your class, the studying for the test will be hard, but it won't be as difficult because you're already built that foundation by staying current. So when you lose a game, this kind of goes with our White Sox too. Don't get me started, but we will start to talk about them later. You can't be losing these games early. You need to come out with a sense of urgency. And this is what I talk about, Ivan. I want that eye of the tiger. They don't have that. You ain't done shit yet. You haven't. So until you're the king dog, then only then will you be the hunted. Right now, you're the hunters. And they don't have that hunter's mentality, and that bugs me.
Well, they're like the Padawans. That's what they are. They're just learning. They're coming up. They're not hunters yet. They're apprentices. But look, I understand that, Shawn. And it goes to how you practice, how you carry yourself, your mentality going in. That idea of perfect practice makes perfect. So it's like you have to your point, their mentality come next season, and I want to say come next season because this season we see it for what it is. We see it for what it is, a regime change. They've taken a step forward, but they still have a long ways to go. But come next year, I said they're on the outside looking in with the playoffs, but that shouldn't be next year. It shouldn't be this year. But
right.
You see some struggles. We had some injuries and such, but that shouldn't be next year. It should be playoff bound, or there's some trouble, and we might need to look at player changes because with the talent that they have on there, I just feel like I feel like that there's certain players on that team that have that mentality, Shawn, and then there's players that are hit or miss. On a night they might have that mentality, and a night they're not. And I'll say Lowry, Valentine, guys like that. Those guys, Felicio, your boy, those guys don't belong on the team. Those guys don't belong on the team. So when you go ahead and you switch those guys out, and I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of personnel changes as far as players are concerned. Next season, you might find those guys. You might find those guys that are going to keep that dog mentality with your younger players throughout the season.
You don't have a guy, okay? Factor one, you said the Bulls players are missing more heart. They lack defense. I think they need another leader on the team to push the team. No, you need an asshole. That's what you need, okay? You need a jagbag son of a bitch on that team who will not allow you to practice at a half-ass is what you need. You need a Michael Jordan. You need a Kobe. You need a Magic Johnson, okay? You need a guy like that who in practice is going to push you, okay? Because once you get that in practice and once you have that mindset in practice, it carries on to the game. It's just that simple. Okay. But when you're not forced to practice and you don't have somebody up your ass, you don't have a superstar, because here's the thing about superstars. Superstars get to be that jerk. They do. And Zach's not that jerk. And I wish he was a little more, had a little more killer in him, a little more dog in him. And Vooch is his new team, and he's not, I don't really want to. And plus, he doesn't seem like that type of dude. But you need somebody who's going to hold his guys, his teammates accountable. Okay, in practice. Okay, in games. Pull them off to the side, and on a timeout, say, dude, you can't do that. You got to rotate. You can't, make a better pass. Don't do this. Don't do that. I need you to continue to do this. There's nobody on the court who does that. There's no leader. The factor one, you're right. They need a leader, a vocal leader, a heart and soul leader. Okay? Because when Michael spoke, everybody listened. When Magic spoke, when Kobe spoke, okay, when LeBron speaks, everybody listens. Hell, even back in with OKC, when Russ talks, okay, and people don't like Russ. I'm not a big Russell Westbrook fan, but I'll tell you what, that joker comes every single play. Every single trip down the court, that son of a bitch plays. Okay? He's there. And he can yell at you. Why? Because I'm averaging a triple-double. Because I'm not scoring 50 points. I'm making sure you're getting involved. I'm rebounding, making sure we get that ball, make sure they're one and done. This dude is doing everything. Who the hell has averaged a triple-double 2 years in a row? Nobody in the NBA history except for him. 2 years in a row. Okay? They still need a dog. They still need that dude. And unless Zach LaVine can transform into that guy, I don't know if he can. And I don't know if he can because he's a certain way right now with his teammates. Okay? And to change it up on him, that starts in the summer. Okay, that starts at the end of the season. Say, hey, listen, I'm going to hold you. I'm going to hold all of us more accountable next year. Okay, this is my team, mine and Vooch's team, but it's my team. I've been here longer. I'm going to hold everybody accountable, myself included. And if you don't see me doing something, Vooch, you better get in my ass too. Coach, get out my ass, because we need to get to the playoffs and not a play in for the playoffs. No, we need to be a 3, 4, 5 seed. Okay, that's where we need to be. And that's the type of mentality, that's the type of attitude that a leader takes. Can Zach step up? I don't know. We're going to find out. Can Zach step up? I don't know. Shawn says a couple players away from a better team. Dude, we have a good team. We have talented players. We have very talented players, but they're not being maximized.
I agree,
okay?
Marshawn. I agree with you, Marshawn. Like I said, it's not that many. Like Marshawn said, 1 or 2 players, another shooter and a defender, and that asshole that you said, a guy that can play 2 ways. But it could get on you when the time comes. That's what I'm looking for. I think Marshawn's absolutely correct.
I'll tell you, I think Tice is going to be one of those guys. His physical, dude. Did you see what he did to Ball yesterday? That's what you do. That's what you do when you have a mismatch. Okay. Tice had LaMelo Ball on him. It just, he got caught in a switch, and LaMelo Ball was on Tice. Tice is 6'10", 6'11", 7 feet. Who the hell knows? Up in there. Dude, he put a freaking forearm in his face, not in his chest. He put a forearm in his face. Like, listen, little boy. Get your ass out of, you got screwed. You got screwed on the switch, okay? Put it in there. Put a forearm to his face. He got the ball. Anybody got the feed, okay? Then he elbows him. Creates room, and lays it in, okay? Get your little ass out of the paint. This is why you switch. This is why you move, so you find mismatches like that. What he did to Ball yesterday on that one play was indicative of who he is. Like, he's not the most talented guy in the world, but he's physical, he's nasty, and he's fundamentally sound. And when he sees a mismatch, he's like, ball now. No pun intended. Ball. He's gonna put a forearm to your face again, to your neck, to your chest, whatever it is, and he's gonna give it to you, let you know. Okay, because it's a mindset. Because what happens is you get an elbow to the mouth, and you get caught in that switch again. You're not going to be up on him very much. Okay, because you got a nice little smack to the mouth with the soft spot of the elbow. Okay. It's a mindset, and Tice has it. It needs to permeate through some other guys. But listen, we got to take a quick. Let's take a quick break, and we'll talk about Jason's comment on the other side. Let's take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we have more top of the morning topics. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
Take off the glasses, please. You look familiar. You got a record?
Yes, sir, he's got a record. He's got a great record. The Black Rooster, 13 KOs. Paco Aguilar, El Gallo Negro. He's got a great right uppercut.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
Bodie will hit a fly ball right field. Cubs are going to win the ball game. They sweep the doubleheader. A fly ball over the head of Mookie Betts in right field.
The action on the Cubs radio network. David Bodie with the game-winning RBI single, 4-3 over the Dodgers in the nightcap of a doubleheader. The Cubs pounded LA 7-1 in the first game and led it 4-0 after the first. Dylan Cease had 11 strikeouts, leading the White Sox past the Reds 9-0 in Cincinnati. Cease went 6 innings, gave up 1 hit. He walked 3. Tim Anderson and Jose Abreu each with 3 RBIs. NHL last night, the Blackhawks doubled up 6-3 on the road at Carolina. They led it 2-0 after the first. Alex DeBrincat with a pair of goals. Colin Delia made 22 saves. The Hawks are winless in 6. They've been eliminated from playoff contention. Download the free Score app. Lightning fast updates so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
To all you do-it-yourselfers, get ready to welcome Fram into the fam. Because America's #1 oil filter brand now has their own new line of motor oil and fluids. And it's only at Advance and CarQuest Auto Parts. Stop into Advance and choose from 4 new Fram oil change bundles starting at just $20.99. They have the oil and filters you need to keep your engine running stronger, longer. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts at participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Okay, my shipments have to get to customers on time and looking good.
It's possible with Staples Connect. Staples Connect has small business shipping covered with premium shipping supplies, custom labels, and UPS shipping services. And now, buy 2, get 1 free on decorative shipping supplies. Plus, get 20% off UPS Express shipping services. Explore what's new at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com. Staples Connect, the working and learning store. Ends 5/29. Visit staplesconnect.com/shipping for details.
Welcome. Oh, I had to make a wardrobe change. I told you about it. Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning at SportsZone Chicago. Oh man, we just got done with the first half of our segment, of the opening segment, top of the morning, and look at, we got some, Jason. He's in the shot. He's working, but he's checking us out. I said, they need a leader. Yeah, you do. You do. End of story. There's no leader on the court. Right now, their leader is Billy Donovan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's great, but you need a guy on the court. You need a guy who can say, "Hold on, coach, I got this." Okay, I don't worry, coach, I'll handle it. You know what I mean? That's what you need. Look at this old school stuff. This is before Nike was the official sponsor, dude. This goes back to the turn of the century, dude. This thing is like over 20 years old. This thing. This thing's old.
Keep aging yourself every time you mention it.
I know, dude. But hey, this keeps aging. This ages myself when I say, I keep it up.
And you know what, Shawn? To Jason's point, I was going before we went to break. It was weird because Jason posted that, then Factor One posted that, and I was already thinking what Factor One was thinking. And we're talking about Chris Paul. Chris Paul might be that guy, dude. He might. He's on a 1-year deal. He's obviously at the back end of his career. Maybe he has 3-4 more years at most if he wants to. Maybe he comes in and he helps a young team. Like maybe he helps them learn how to win and how to be professional and how to win in the playoffs because he's been there.
I like that Chris Paul idea. Okay. The only thing is I want a point guard who can grow with this team because his team is so young. Chris Paul is old. You give him a team that's ready, that needs a point guard to win now, and I think he fits in perfectly. But the Bulls aren't ready to win now. Okay, Patrick Williams is not, dude still can't even buy a drink. He's 19 years old. Kobe just turned 21, I believe. Okay, Lowry's still only 22, 23. Okay, these guys are still young. I want a guy who can grow with them because what's going to happen is Chris Paul is going to be ready to say he's here for 2 or 3 years, and now their window's open and his play has declined. So I don't mind bringing Chris Paul in, but I say bring in another point guard as well who has the ability to play, to practice with Chris Paul, to watch Chris Paul, to learn from Chris Paul. Okay, like a ball. But we're not going to be able to get 2 point guards, which is why when you say let's get Lonzo Ball. That's the dude, man. That dude is a pure facilitator.
I love Lonzo too. I agree with Lonzo as well.
Yeah. So that's what we need. And don't get me wrong. Factor One, I agree with you. Chris Paul's the type of guy they want. But for this young team, I need a guy who's in there, that age bracket, so to speak, to kind of grow with this team, dude. That's what I want. Okay, that's what I want. Unless you get Chris Paul for a couple years and you draft a point guard. But give me someone who's proven. Give me a Lonzo Ball. And you know what? Here's one of the issues that I have as well. So I'm reading the paper today. Okay, I'm old school, man. I got to get my paper. I got to. Okay, I got to. Okay. And I'm reading an article and by Joe Cowley. And it said after beating the Hornets, their spot in East isn't looking as cozy for the draft lottery. So basically, they're screwing themselves in the draft lottery. Here's my answer to him, Joe Cowley. Here's my answer to all you jamokes who think that same stupid freaking way. You don't lose. Okay? You don't play to lose. Oh, let's see who we can get. Okay? You play to win. You play to win the games. Tell him, Marv Lewis. You know what I mean? Not Marvin Lewis. That mentality, because what do you want to be? You want to continue to keep getting draft picks? I mean, lottery picks? Is that what you want? You want another 19-year-old kid that we have to develop? Do we have to wait till he's 22, 23 till his body is filled out and his skills have developed? You want to win another guy? Is that what you want? No, stop having a loser-ass mentality, okay, and you go for what's there. What you have is you have the ability to make the playoffs. Now, it's out of your control. You need help from somewhere else, but you do now everything you can. And stop that stupid mentality. Oh, well, let's try. It's who can see if we can get. You don't even know who the hell's coming out in the draft next year. Most people. That's how stupid people are. Let's just get a lottery pick. Okay, well, who do you want to get? Who's coming out that you think the Bulls should go get? No, you don't even know who the frick is out there. So when you say stupid shit like that, that bugs me. When columnists write things like that, that bugs me. So we're going to get another 19-year-old kid, and then another 19-year-old kid next year, then another 19-year-old kid next year. How many freaking 19-year-old kids do you want? Start making do with what you got. You have plenty of talent on this roster. Plenty. There are a few players away. The factor one said there are a few players away. Marshawn, there are a few players away. I agree with both of you guys. Yes. Go get those guys at free agency. Get those guys who are 24 or 26. Okay, so when in their 4 years there, this is when the Bulls should be contending. Somewhere in that 4-year period. And it could start next year, depending on who you bring over. You bring a 3-and-D guy, okay, they're going to take this team pretty far. They're going to help this team out a lot. So stop with this loser mentality. Oh, if we tank, we'll get a better draft pick. Who the fuck are we going to pick that's going to help us in 1 year that's 19 years old? Who? There's no LeBron James. There's no Kobe Bryant's. There's no Kevin Garnett's coming out next year. There's no Moses Malone's. So stop the nonsense. Stop that stupid mentality that you have. How about we develop what we have? The Bulls have a development department focused solely on the development of players. How about we use those? How about we use the guys that we have and use that department? Utilize that department. Bring in a 1 or 2 veterans, okay? But this losing mentality, let's go get someone in the draft. Let's get a lottery pick. Get the hell out of here. Stop. Stop. You got me fired up this morning. Fired the freak up. On the next top of the morning topic, the Blackhawks, baby. Woo! Here come the Hawks, the mighty Blackhawks. Da, 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 da. The Blackhawks come from behind yesterday to beat the Carolina Hurricanes. Now we were whooping Carolina's ass yesterday, huh? That was a double dipper. That was a sweep. Bang bang. Tell them, Cactus Jack. Blackhawks beat the Carolina Hurricanes 2-1 in overtime. Riley Stillman. Who? Yes, Riley. Right. Yeah, Riley Stillman. Who? Yep, exactly. Youngster scores his first NHL goal, and he did it in a timely manner. He scored, what time was it? 3 minutes remaining. Here, courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago, they got on the board early in the first period of Carolina. It was 1-0. We'll go to the third. And just about 3 minutes left, Riley Stillman gets his first goal, his first NHL goal to tie the game. We go to overtime, and who it is? The Cat himself comes across, fires a wrister, ends the game with the GWG in overtime. What a game. The Brinkett scores the game-winning goal. Phenomenal. Colin Delia was between the pipes. He stopped 36 of 37 shots. And this is what we need. All right, the Hawks are not. No, the Hawks are mathematically eliminated. That's right. The Bulls are not. The Hawks are. But I still like the fact that you're going out and playing, that you're fighting. Okay. Really good game by the Hawks yesterday. You need these. Okay. You need this because here's the situation that I just talked about with the Bulls. Don't give me that loser ass mentality. Okay. You play 82 games, a little short in this year. Okay. But nonetheless, you get paid to play 82 games. You play all 82 games, or you play the full season at 100% tilt. Don't ease up because you're out of the playoffs. Okay, that's a loser's mentality. You're making millions, hundreds of thousands of dollars for most of those guys. Some of those guys, millions and millions of dollars for 82 times. You know how many people wish they could go to work 82 times a year? You know how many people wish they could only go to work 82 times a year and get paid not even millions of dollars, 6 figures. So you better give me some effort, damn it.
You get paid just to show up. I mean, you get paid like about a couple $1,000 just to walk into the arena.
Just to walk in the arena, sit on the bench, and knowing damn well you're not going to get paid. You're not going to play, Carlos Feliciano. Sorry, Bulls.
Oh, terrible.
Although he did get in yesterday. He did get in yesterday.
I agree with you, Shawn. But like you said, these games, I know they're out of it. They could quit. They could lay down. But these guys are all young. They know that they're fighting for spots next season because, hey, look at. With a game like yesterday, with the way that they've been playing this season, I'm looking forward to next season. There's fans out there looking forward to next season. John Dietz, our boy from the Daily Herald, I'm sure he's looking forward to what will happen with this team next season, and with some of these younger players. You know, it's a resurgence. It's a light resurgence, but I say look to next year for the Hawks and the Bulls for another step forward. Hopefully, another step forward. We don't want to step backwards, but hopefully another step forward. And, you know, although Jeremy Colleton is questionable still, I still feel like his job is, although he's done a decent job, I still feel like he still leaves question marks for me. You know what? I got to move on to the next top of the morning topic, but it piggybacks off exactly what you just said. There's fans in the stands now. You know, Mayor Lori Lightfoot just opened it up, man. There are about 4,000 fans in the stands the other day at the game. Let's do it. You know what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. The Hawks. Now you have the fan crowd. Now you have the crowd. You have that energy. Okay, starting with the national anthem. I mean, if you're a Hawks fan, if you're a Chicago Blackhawks player, and you've been here for more than 1 year, 2 years, because last year was the pandemic. It's your 3rd year, 4th year. Okay, even if it's your 3rd, and you've experienced the national anthem with fans and the national anthem without fans. How excited are you now that fans are coming back? How excited? Because you know what? There's no place like the Madhouse on Madison in the entire NHL. They start screaming from the opening, from the national anthem to the end of the game. You stand up during the national anthem and you start cheering through the national anthem. It's going to give the Blackhawks a lot of energy. And as the city's opening up, there are 4,000 people. There's going to be more people in the stands, and the Bulls are finally going to have fans in the stands as well. Man, this is great. Now you get to see. So if you're a second-year player, okay, you're going to finally have fans in the stands cheering. You're going to get to feel that energy. If you're a third-year player, you're like, man, I remember what it was like my first year. So that is awesome. The fact that the city's opening up, and Mayor Lori Lightfoot said she plans to have the city open by July 4th. Okay, I mean the seasons will be over for the Hawks and the Bulls, but even so, knowing that next year there'll be fans, man, you got to come and you got to play. You got to feed off of that energy for the few remaining games that the Hawks have. Feed off it, see what it's like, and like, holy cow, that's like a jolt of energy. You know, a shot of B12 for you. You know, every single time you're at home. So some of those Bulls games, though, felt like a mortuary. You know what I mean? Like it just felt like there was more noise when there was no fans. Maybe just for the start, but it almost felt like everybody was just like, all right, we have to sit up. Let's cheer, but we don't know if we should like cheer. We should jump. Like the fans didn't know what to do with themselves once they got there. You know what I'm saying? Like at least for the first couple games, I saw.
Well, a lot of it's just family and friends, and then a couple of other people. You know, once they start getting the rowdies, the regulars, you're going to start to hear some noise and some craziness, which is what you need, which is what you want. So Looking forward, moving forward, there'll be fans, as I said, for the remainder of the home games at the United Center for the Bulls and the Blackhawks. And I'll tell you what, you got to feed off that energy. And as a Blackhawk player, you got to say, wow, this is what it's like. All right. The most I've ever played in front of, I've never been fortunate enough to play in front of 100,000 people during my career. All right. Some guys did it on a regular basis. If you went to Ohio State, Michigan, or another pretty big school, and you just happen to play one of those schools. The most I ever played for was 45,000. Whatever Mikey Stadium at West Point, whatever Army holds, that was the most. I used to play in front of 20,000 at home at Holy Cross. But we went to Army 45,000. That was insane. Can you imagine double that capacity? You know what I mean? And there was an energy that I had when I played at Army, and we went to West Point in Mikey Stadium, and there was an energy with 45,000 people. Can you imagine in a full house? There's an energy that your fans give you, and it gave us too, because I just love playing in front of full houses. So they have some work to do, okay, but I'm really happy that they're going to be able to experience for the remainder of the last few games of this season what it's like to play in front of fans.
Mikey Stadium holds 38,000.
Well, 40,000. I thought it was 45.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. No, but I'm sure. But because you have the people on the sidelines and such,
Yeah.
So they squeeze in another couple thousand wherever they can.
Yeah. So it was, dude, those were crazy times. And unfortunately, the 3 times we went there, we lost. And that was the last time. Real quick story before we move on. That was the last time I was ever intimidated on a football field. I was a freshman. All right. I was a freshman. You couldn't tell me shit. Okay. I was one of 3 freshmen that traveled. I played in every game as a freshman on just about all special teams. Got in sometimes as a running back because we blew out a lot of teams. But I was on a kickoff return team, and Army beat the snot out of us that day, my freshman year. And I'm on the front, the wedge. And this one kid that I had to hit every single time they scored. This kid was about 6'1", because I'm only not only, but I'm 5'11". Okay. This guy was about 6'1", a solid 6'1", probably 6'1" plus. Okay. He was about 215. And he was explosive. I wasn't as explosive back then because I was only a freshman. I hadn't been through their weightlifting program. I was high school explosive. I wasn't college explosive. Okay. This dude came down and they scored. It was like 42 to whatever. That's seven times. 7 times. Because don't forget, it was opening kickoff or the second half kickoff. 7 times ahead of don't they shoot off cannons and stuff at Army games? Yeah, they shoot off the cannon. They have the cheerleaders in the end zone doing push-ups. The cadets go crazy in one corner. Yeah, it was intimidating. And this dude, after the first time, I gave him everything I had because that was my first time playing in front of 40,000 plus. All right, I came through and on that kickoff. I don't remember if it's the opening kickoff or it was the second half kickoff. But that first kickoff, I remember I saw him. I lined him up because you have your assignment, R1, R2, R3, L1, L2, L3. That's right side or left side, and you count them in. And I saw him. He was about my size, a little taller, maybe a little heavier. But I was like, no way, I'm gonna light his ass up. This dude crushed me like a fucking aluminum can. Just crushed me. Saw it on film. You talk about embarrassed in the film room on Sunday. Crushed me. And then I was like, oh shit, you're not in high school anymore. You're not in high school anymore, dude. Oh man. And then after that, I was like, oh, and 6 more times I had to go hit that same son of a gun. It got to the point, I think the last 2, I hit him in the stomach, kind of trying to cut him. And you can't cut people on kickoffs. You can't cut people on kickoffs. You just can't do it. It's illegal. But I hit him in the stomach and kind of slide down. Dude, he was stronger than me. He was bigger than me. He was stronger than me, probably faster than me at the time. And that was the last time, 1989. I wish I had the date that I was intimidated on a football field. That was crazy. Listen, and next, let's keep it moving. Next top of the morning topics. What the hell, Ivan? Oh. Tony La Russa. Okay, Tony La Russa is really is giving more than enough ammunition to those who did not want him hired. The other day, the White Sox lose 1-0 at the second game of a 2-game set in Cincinnati, Tuesday and Wednesday. White Sox beat their ass on Tuesday. Okay. But it was a zip game. Beautiful pitchers duel. But the White Sox had chances. And because of a new rule that he didn't know, he puts the closer, Liam Hendricks, on second base. Because the rule says that it's a National League park, but there's a different rule for National League parks because of the pitchers. So Tony La Russa was unaware that you can put the guy in front of the pitcher. If the person who makes the last out is the pitcher in the National League Stadium, you can put the person prior to him in the batting order on second base. It doesn't have to be the pitcher. He didn't know that rule. And that's not necessarily what lost him the game, because there were the White Sox had plenty of opportunities. Okay? You had Billy Hamilton up to bat. First of all, why the hell is Billy Hamilton up to bat? There's been more than a few jacked up calls that this Hall of Fame manager has made this year, and he's lost us a minimum of 3 games. I'm thinking possibly 5 to 6. I'm starting to get pissy with this.
I understand. Look, it falls on the manager. That's no doubt. That game in particular, none of the coaching staff knew the rule. The dugout did not know the rule. Not just Tony La Russa. His staff didn't know the rule, but it still falls on Tony because your staff and yourself didn't know what the hell was going on. So, like you said, it cost them a game. I don't know what's going on. I feel like the team is there. But when it comes down to late innings and this new age baseball, I don't know if Tony has his feet on solid ground. I'll say that much.
And another thing, and Jason just put it up, Lurie Garcia was stealing. Okay. There was 1 out, runners on first and third. Okay. Lurie Garcia stole second, gets thrown out. Now, here's my issue. I'm okay with Lurie stealing second base if the pitcher is not on third base. If you don't have a pitcher on third base, because they weren't worried about him coming home. This is your closer. Do you want your closer to have a collision at home plate, twist his ankle, not be able to come out in the bottom of the inning? No, you're not going to do that. So he's not running. Which is why it's imperative you understood that rule. Because if you put Jose Abreu or somebody else out there, have them run, now you can't throw to second. Because now that runner from third has a great chance to score if you throw all the way down. That's how it affected that particular play. Because if I'm the catcher and I know who's on third, it's their reliever, that's their closer. Come on, man. He's not running. He don't want the smoke. He don't want a collision at the plate. Their team doesn't want him to have a collision at the plate. And he said, "Oh, I didn't know the rule." James Fegan, he's been on our show quite a few times, asked a question and kept pressing him for it. He's like, "Would you have known?" He goes, "No." And then Tony's like, "No, you have to put the last guy." He said, "Well, no." And according to MLB.com, the rule is in a National League park, if the guy who made the last out is in the pitcher's position, you can have the guy before him on base, on second base. And he's like, and after it all, he's like, "Oh, I wasn't aware of the rule." That falls on your bench coach. He's got to go. When you understand, when you're in a National League park, there's different rules. You understand the different rule that there's no DH, but you have to ask you have to figure that out. And the White Sox were the laughing stock of baseball yesterday. The laughing stock of baseball. Everybody's laughing. I'll tell you what, I guarantee you no one else has that issue. Thank you, White Sox. Don't do that. I guarantee you no one else has that. No one else is going to make that same mistake. Thank you, White Sox. Thank you, White Sox. So Laurie shouldn't have been stealing with the pitcher, with your closer on third. Someone else on third. So had you known, you put Jose Abreu. It'd have been Jose Abreu on third, and Jose Abreu is a great base runner. So he's gonna check and see. Are you going all the way down? If you are, I'm going. And trust me, I'd like a collision at home plate with a catcher and Jose Abreu. Jose Abreu is gonna run your ass over. It's for the win. I'm dropping shoulders. I'm definitely running my. Jose's gonna pull. He's gonna pull out a Campbell type deal, and he's gonna just run somebody over to get that win. So yeah, that bothered me. And how much longer? Ivan, I tell you what, this is going to be Tony's only year. This is going to be Tony La Russa's only year. Because now he's going to be, 76, 77 next year? Does he want to do all this shit again? Do you want to go through all this again? Does he want to go? Junior, October 15th, 1989. Okay, that was it. We stayed in New Jersey. We stayed in the Hilton, big glass building. I was man, it was crazy. It was crazy. I even brought a postcard home, and I had I still have that postcard somewhere at Mom's, but it's in the basement somewhere. It's I just went to the gift store and bought a postcard. I didn't mail it, but it was the Hilton or something like that, the hotel that we stayed at. Top notch. Never forget it. But yeah, Tony, you got to stop doing that, dog. You got to get your bench coaches. Here's probably one of the issues I think might be it. Bench coaches need to talk to him. He needs to trust them more because they've been in the trenches longer, I should say they've been in the trenches recently. So they understand a lot of things. Trust them more. And if you don't know, hey, ask them, do you think there's another rule? What do you think here? What do you think here? What do you think here? That's what they're there for. Think that La Russa could finish the year? That's a good question, Lewis. I think if things go awry more than they already have, if Tony makes one or two more stupid mistakes, I think he might step down. So you better start looking for a replacement now. You better. So I don't know. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, our guy Joshua Hicks is going to call in. We're going to talk a little Bulls, but also don't forget my guy Kenneth Davis is going to come and sit with me from the 10 to 11 o'clock hour, and we're going to talk some Bulls. We're going to talk some Bears. I'm going to talk with him because I haven't talked to him about the full draft as well. He was on last Friday, but they hadn't drafted Tevin Jenkins yet. They hadn't drafted Larry Bourne. They didn't draft Newsome, or Herbert yet. They didn't draft those guys. I want to get Kenneth's take. He's probably already done like 6 or 7 Under Center podcasts talking about this stuff. So I got to get his take. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here on the other side of the break. Kenneth Davis joins me. We're going to welcome Josh Hicks. And then at the bottom of the hour, me and Ken, we're going to talk some Bears, baby. Don't even trip. We got you. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
Third time's a charm. Let the big dog eat.
MotiveMat.com presents SportsZone Chicago. The Blackhawks got a third period goal from Riley Stillman to pull even with Carolina last night before Alex DeBrincat scored his 29th goal of the season to win it for the Blackhawks in overtime. With the win, the Blackhawks snap a 6-game skid as they beat the Carolina Hurricanes. Chicago has 2 games left in the regular season. They are home games on Sunday and Monday against the Dallas Stars. NBA last night, the Bulls winners over the Hornets in Charlotte, 128-99. In the win for Chicago, Nikola Vucevic had 29 points and 14 rebounds to lead 7 in double digits for the Bulls. The Bulls now 27-39 on the year. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. I'm John Thayer on 1330 and 95.9 SportsZone Chicago.
Mother's Day is this week, and JCPenney's got amazing gifts for mom. It's her time to shine, so get her select $15 lab-created white sapphire jewelry. Or Thursday to Sunday, save on Mom's Day deals. Select Liz Claiborne apparel, accessories, and home are up to 40% off, and save extra with a 25% off coupon. Celebrate the woman who does it all. JCPenney. Offers and coupon valid through 5/9. Some exclusions apply. $15 jewelry excluded from coupons and rewards. See store or jcp.com for details.
For the ones standing guard, For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call clickgrainger.com/safety or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Guys, that's the intro for the one, the only man, the host of the That Davis Show and new host of the Undercenter Podcast. Dude, I told you, I'm going to sing. If you have this job for like 7 years, I'm still going to stay. And new host of the Undercenter Podcast, my man, Kenneth Davis. What's up, Papa? How are you?
What's going on? What's going on, bro? How are you and Ivan doing,
man? I'm fired up. You got like that Bulls win yesterday? They look good.
Definitely.
Man,
definitely.
Shawn was going off earlier. Shawn was going off earlier about the tanking and everything. You should have heard him. I was like, hey, I had to step away for a second.
Whoa! What about the tanking? What are you saying? Well, tell me real quick. I didn't see it.
It's stupid. I fucking hate it, bro. Because don't give me that loser mentality. Okay, you have players here, you have guys here, and they need to step up. And we're gonna bring in. I'm not sure. Do you know Josh Hicks?
Maybe I've heard of him. I've heard of him in passing. I don't think he thought he was gonna see me this morning because the times you had him on in the past, it was the hour before or after me. So I don't think he even knows that I'm on here Mondays and Fridays, to be honest with you. But he puts it in our text thread. He was like, watch me, I'm gonna be on Shawn and Maya tomorrow. I don't say anything. I've been waiting to surprise him on one of these Fridays or Mondays.
So he's coming on. He's gonna be surprised he sees you. But what I said was, don't give me that loser mentality. Okay. Mm-hmm. Don't come out. And I know Zach was out and you know what? Let's bring him out. Let me bring him out, guys. This guy is our next guest. He is part of We Are Regal Radio, he covers the Bulls, man. He does a great job, and I wanted to have him on. I needed to have him on here, man, because you know what? There's a lot to deal with when it comes with the Bulls, and you know he's a guy that he's a young star, dude. He's like 20. How old are you? You're 21, bro? You 20, 19, 20, Josh? I'm kidding. Because he looks young. You can find him on Twitter at Josh M. Hicks Media. Guys, let's bring him out. Joshua Hicks. Josh, what's up, Papa? How are you?
What's up, everybody? What's up, Ken?
Yeah, but you was unexpected now, wasn't you? Listen, I've been waiting like the last 2 times that you've been on here for him to put you on during my hour. I'm on here every Monday and Friday. So when you put it in the thread, I'll just be like, okay, I'll get to see him finally. When you put 10, I was like, all right, he's doing my hour. I'll finally get to sit down with him. What's going on, bro?
Man, it's always a good time to be with obviously you, Shawn, but for sure you can, because you just big bro. So this means something. I get to be on the same show at the same time with Ken. It's making my heart warm, brother.
Yeah, the young DePaul reporter that we got on right here. Give him his props and his respect.
Yeah.
Saying doing his dizzle. But real quick, Shawn, you get into the tanking part. I'll say this, to be honest with you, and I've said it since the trade. I would really be happy, and I know the odds are against the Bulls, that if the Bulls jumped up and got a top 4 pick and took that draft pick back from Orlando, because I actually feel like if they get one of the top 4 players, and I mean, I would love to get Cunningham or Jalen Suggs, particularly because we need somebody that's a point guard. And I think that would be, because, when I come on here, majority of the times I say that people are too attached to some of the players on this roster. They think those players are going to be the players that are here when the Bulls, and if the Bulls get back to contention. I think they need one more stud, and we still haven't been able to get a stud through free agency. If they can sit there and get one more nice dude, then I would say shut off the shorty pipeline and let's now go with the roster that you have now. So I'm not against them. I won't even say necessarily they're full on taking. I mean, a little bit, because you look at Thad's minutes, but Thad was playing more minutes. And Billy Donovan has said that he wanted to kind of rest that a little bit. But again, I mean, Zach LaVine's been out for 3 weeks. Like, what did you really expect from this team when the guy that you run the offense through has been out as long as he's been out? I mean, they actually fared kind of decent. What were they, 4-7 or something like that?
4-7, yeah.
4-7. Like, I mean, it's not 500, but still, with him being out, like with us growing up, and of course, we could say like it was a team that was approaching the championship. But how many games, let's say, could the Bulls of '88, you know what I'm saying, won without Mike up in there? You know what I'm saying? Like
Mike didn't miss, dude. Mike played about.
I agree with you. You know, I know you, but you know,
81 games.
But you know, if he was out and you had to start running the offense through Brad Sellers, it was going to be a problem. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's and at least this team actually has Vooch on it, but still, you know, it's still a mishmash of parts. I mean, so I'm not against it if they're quote unquote taken, because I think they still got a little lucky streak and they may be able to jump up, because I think they're like 7th in the draft. I was reading something like the other day. I think they have the 7th worst record in the NBA. I believe it's somewhere around there. Man, if you're around 7, you can jump up 3 spots. So
here's my thing. Most people don't even know who's coming out in the draft. Okay, and I know
I do.
A lot of us
I
do,
definitely. This is one of those years, Sean. This is one of those years. All right.
But how many more 19-year-olds do you want on this team? How many times do you want to keep picking it? How many times do you want to keep picking in the lottery? Okay, I think we have one more time.
They haven't gotten in this guy though, Sean. They haven't gotten
like the Cubs fan. One more year, next year.
They haven't gotten the stud. Look, the thing is, they haven't gotten the stud.
Oh, see, there you go, you son of a biscuit.
all those years of picking 7th. You know what I'm saying? Last year, finally getting a 4th. Dude, if they could get Cunningham, if they jump up to 1, it's crazy. And you got a dude that actually fits and works with what you need. And then the flip side, if you fall to 3 or 4 and you can get Jalen Suggs, it's another player that can fit what you necessarily need. Like these are better players and better options than they've had a chance to necessarily get. I mean, compared to they couldn't get in the top 3 last year. Now the top 3 last year looks a lot better now that the season has went on, because remember what people were saying that this past year's draft really wasn't a draft that had studs in it. Can you say that about Anthony Edwards and about Ball? Now you can't. Now you like, I wish I got my hands on one of them. But this year's draft, you got guys that people have already been like, oh yeah, that's one of those dudes right there, compared to like this past year's draft. I mean, dude, you need it. They just don't have enough studs on this team. And you know we don't attract studs. Unfortunately.
Here's my thing though. These guys are how do we know? We don't know what they're projected to do well, but how many guys have come up and been average at best? So these guys, good, but do we need good or we need great? You know what I'm saying? Josh, give me your thoughts, man, because I'm tired of 19-year-old kids. I want they have a new development department. So let's develop our players. Give me a full off season, okay? Because I don't know whether or not Lowry's going to be here. Give me your thoughts first on him. Do you think Lowry's going to be here or not? Are they going to match anybody, or they say, you know what, nah, that's too much, you're out?
Nah, he's gone.
Okay.
I think Lowry's gone, and I think what they should do is move Patrick 3 from the 3 to the 4. They realize that that's where he's most effective at, that's where he's most aggressive at, and it adds more to the front court, and it adds more flexibility and versatility on the front court. Especially when you pair him with Vucevic, who is a defensive liability. So therefore, I mean, at this point, you already tried to extend him. You wanted to prove himself. Lowry had his moments, but he also had his lapses, and he had his injuries. Could have been gone at trade deadline when you could have potentially used him to get Lonzo Ball, but you didn't pull the trigger. It's pretty much a known thing at this point that he's going to be gone. The question is, who do you replace him with? And the Bulls, at this point, that's a question mark, because at least from the previous regime, what we've always known, they have a hard time replacing talent that they lost with better talent.
But let me ask you this, okay? As I just said, they have a player development department now. All right, you got how long did Lowry have to undo and kind of get rid of that Jim Boylan stank, and like everybody on this team had to get rid of that Jim Boylan stank. Okay, hold
on to him.
Do they think that he's
gotta let him go?
No, I hear you. Why can't you give him a 2-year deal? Why can't you offer him a 2-year deal and say, dude, you're going to be 24? Okay, and if he doesn't, then cool, then you're out. But say, hey, listen, you have serious conversations. Say, hey, listen, you've been injured, you've been inconsistent. I think we can work with you here, but we're going to give you a 2-year deal. And if at the end of the 2-year deal we think we want to extend you, go ahead. But right now, you haven't given us a body of work that we feel is deserving of a big deal. Because I think with him, when you get a full off season, and the last 2 off seasons haven't been full, okay, or especially last year when you got the new regime. It takes a lot when you have a full off season, full training camp, full preseason schedule. It's a whole different thing when you're bringing in a new coach and learning a new system. I don't know, man. I just think that what I try and get a short deal, a 2-year deal, a 3-year deal, and you know what? If after year 1 he sucks and he doesn't develop, trade him. Then you could trade him. But that's a lot of talent, in my opinion, because we've seen Lowry go off 25, 30 points, 10 rebounds, but he just doesn't do it consistently. Maybe with this development department, he can get more consistent.
I think it's even deeper than that. I think it's coaching. You got to have a coach that knows how to fit with the talent that he has. Billy Donovan has a specific system that needs a specific point guard. And the Bulls have not had that type of point guard in a very long time. So because of that, you're trying to fit a 2 guard pretty much that's trying to be a point guard when he has no point guard skills per se, as far as that specific point guard position and what Billy Donovan needs and wants to facilitate an offense where Lauri Markkanen can thrive in. And if you think about it, Lauri Markkanen hasn't even played in a thriving offense since maybe Fred Hoiberg. And that stance didn't last too long. We know Jim Boylen didn't have an offense. Now he actually has an offense, but he doesn't have a point guard that can facilitate him, direct him, and create the offense that Lauri Markkanen needs in order to thrive.
But that feeds my point, though. If you get a point guard, you get a Lonzo Ball. Now you got a facilitator. You got a true one of the last of a dying breed, an old school point guard with a new twist because he can score if necessary. But now you have a legit point guard. Doesn't that make Lowry better?
It can, but at what cost? Lonzo Ball's going to be probably charging for a high price this offseason, especially since he's having a career year. Are the Bulls going to be doing whatever it takes, especially since he's a restricted free agent, to match whatever offer other teams are going to give him, or try to compete with the other teams to give him the max dollar that he wants? You already got a tight salary cap by trying to, with Zach LaVine and bringing on Vucevic's contract, and on top of all of that, now you're trying to figure out what you're going to do with Zach LaVine moving forward, or if you're trying to sign him this offseason, which would be smart, but I don't think he would take it. He's not taking it. He's going to want that max contract. So you got to figure out what your cap situation is going to be looking like moving forward to get a point guard like Lonzo Ball, who is a game changer, but isn't like the elite game changer that the Bulls may necessarily want to look for to take him to take that next leap.
Mm-hmm. Guys, we're joined by Josh Hicks from We Are Regal Radio, talking Bulls basketball right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Fall in love with these guys. I used to love me some Lowry. I gave him the nickname to finish Lord. He's not a Lord, he's a squire. And it's just the truth. He doesn't have. He does, yeah. It's better than the surf. Correct, Sean. It's better than the surf. You lowly surf, you. But it's he doesn't have it in him. One, to give him a contract. Like, he doesn't have enough dog in him. And I didn't like initially how he always deferred to Zach. And this was like 2 years ago when he'd be in the locker room like, Zach, should I wear these gym shoes? I'm like, man, if you don't stop, like, dude, you know how good you can be. Like, you have to, man. And Lowry just isn't that guy. And we've now had a large enough sample size where we know he isn't that guy. If the Bulls miss out on him and one day it clicks, oh well, because he's just been here too long and he hasn't done enough with being here as long as he has. I think it's more about his makeup than about the development that the Bulls' new regime can set in place. And also now with what he wants to get paid. And then he had the audacity, now I shouldn't say audacity, but he had the audacity to come out and say, I'm a starter, and I basically moving forward, I view myself and I should be a starter. Whoa, Bucko, you've been lucky because of your draft ranking and the potential that they always kept you in the starting lineup. You didn't have to really fight to get that starting spot. You know, and I mean, not to say that they don't do that with other players, because you can say the same about Patrick Williams. But still, it's just to the point now where it's like, there's no reason to give Lowry. There's really no reason to give Lowry more money than $14 million a season, and that's a hell of a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if he wanted 20 and they were talking 15, he better come on back down. But there's going to be some team out there that views him, and we already heard San Antonio a month or two ago. There's going to be a team out there that thinks that they can fix him and get him right. And listen, good luck to him. But the last thing you need to do is wrap a lot of money in him. And then, as Zach said, the Lonzo Ball thing, I worry about that because at some point I feel like, and this is where I feel like I would love to get one of those guards, those young guards in this year's draft, because I feel like they have more upside than Lonzo Ball has proven. This is the first time that Lonzo Ball has really validated himself to where he still hasn't validated himself to be the number one pick in the draft. But I mean, potentially, or whatever the hell he was back then, when the Lakers took him number 2, I believe.
Yeah.
They have number 2, but he hasn't validated that. But I would much more prefer Cade Cunningham than Lonzo. And with Jalen Suggs, probably even with him. And again, these guys will be on their rookie deals. You're talking about giving Lonzo like $80 million at least, which is like, I guess for half a season of finally doing what you're supposed to do. And I know when LeBron came to LA, he didn't get the same look because LeBron is the point guard, but still, I'm trying to fix this team. Like, man, when you really look at this team and think that this team can contend for a championship with the pillars that you believe, I think that's not true. I mean, I think Zach is a really good player. I don't know if Zach's a championship player, and I can say the same about Vooch. I think you need those players on this roster, but if you think that those guys can be the lead dogs and winning the title, you got to look around the NBA and then come back to yourself and realize that's just false, because it's some killers out here in these streets, and we don't really have a bona fide. Zach's close, but we don't have bona fide killers. People got like 4 killers, and I'm not talking about like just all-stars. Their all-stars may be killers, but then they got like bench guys that's murderers or just sweet, crafty vets and things like that. So the Bulls are a lot further away than just a player on this roster being a guy that can do it, or Lonzo Ball being a guy that can do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if you even think about this season, what we currently have, we were talking about having a play-in tournament where the Bulls can even just get into the play-in tournament, and they're outside of that. I mean, that should tell you the type of talent that we actually have currently on this roster. The problem is, how do you get the right talent to come to the city, especially a franchise that has struggled for so long because of a previous regime, right? That's always been the question mark that Arturas Karnisovas and Mark Eversley have to solve. And this is the offseason that they're going to have to deal with that. The Bulls, I've always said, and Ken knows, I was one of the only few people that said Zach LaVine's a 1A. Like, he's someone that he's the top guy that can score the ball and you can rely on, but he's not the one that's going to get you over the top as the top dog to get you to a championship. You need a superstar. That's what Chicago needs at the end of the day. And there's a very limited number of superstars out there, but where are they at? They're in the other big city markets. And the Chicago is not, even though it's a big city, it's never been an attractive place for superstars to want to willingly come to because of the history that we had, especially as of recent under the Garpax era. So yeah, and not to mention, we don't have the salary cap right now. So because of that, we have to find good players on cheaper deals to fulfill the roster that we ultimately want to have, and that's very hard to do.
Here's my take on that. Like, we got a new system. You had a chance. You had a new coach, a new system, new philosophy, new general manager, new front office. Everything changed. So it's going to take a while, and I mentioned it earlier. When you're so used to the craziness and the crap that you had to deal with Garpax in the front office and Boylan, that takes time. And then all of a sudden they're playing good because now they believe in this coach. They like him. Then all of a sudden, then you make a big trade. Now roles get reversed. Here's my issue: they don't have roles yet. Okay, I think Billy Donovan is still figuring out what guys can do, and then once he figures what he can do, somebody gets hurt, and then Zach goes out. And so all of a sudden the roles keep changing for these guys because now you're asking someone to do more because Zach's out. You're asking someone to do more or less because you traded for a Vucevic, because now you got a Tice, or Tice is how I think it says how you pronounce it. So there's always been something there, always something. And we've seen flashes, because when you got talented players around, they're going to make it work eventually, but it's just not consistent, which is why I say, in my opinion, hey, offer Lowry 2 years. If you want to take it, fine. If you don't, go somewhere else. But we think you could be a big part of it because you get a point guard. I think it's a whole nother story. As I said earlier, with everything, there's just been too many moving parts, nothing stable. And when you understand when there's nothing stable, when there's not stability at the top, everything trickles down. And this Bulls organization has stability. Even when it was stable, it wasn't stable. And now you finally got some stability. And I think Mark Eversley, talk to me about Mark Eversley, because he might be that dude who changes it. Remember, he worked for Nike. So he's got players' numbers, not the representation. He's got their numbers, man. And I think he might, hey, listen, you know what? Yeah. Here's my thought is this. You know what? We're one superstar away. You might be that dude that could help us take it to the next level, be consistent playoff contenders.
You remember when World Wide West was supposed to deliver LeBron James to the Knicks about 6 or 7 years ago? And still now World Wide West is back. And look at that Knicks roster. And I'm not dissing it because the Bulls aren't as good as the Knicks, right? And the Bulls elite players you would think are better than the Knicks, even though with Julius Randle, we can argue over that. That connection don't work. Especially if your team isn't attractive. If your nobody's coming because of connection if they don't think they can win a title on your team, because it's all about cementing my legacy. And the Bulls have not proven that they will safeguard your legacy. So no one's going to trust them when it's like, I'm going to go to the Bulls and get them 4 years of my career, even though I'm not even sure they're a contender. If you look around this, we could just look in the East. They're not close to Milwaukee. They're damn sure not close to the Nets, and the Nets are injured. They're not close to Philadelphia. They're not even as good as a Raptors team that's been dinged up and doesn't even have Kawhi anymore. And I could probably name several others. Listen, they're not as good as the Hornets if LaMelo had been healthy and didn't break his wrist earlier this year. You know, like it's so many teams out there that, and forget about the West. And we can't think that Larry can be the difference in that. Like we've seen the Larry story already. You know, it's just it's like staying in a relationship just because I know you, even though this relationship really isn't the relationship I prefer to be in, but I'm comfortable and I know you. And it's just like, we got to break out of that. Like he's not good enough to warrant getting paid really $15 million a year, but let alone anything above that. He's not good enough. And you have to start. And this is another thing too. So let's just say you do keep Larry, right? And he's a starter. So you're going to have Larry, Vooch, and Zach in there. So automatically off jump, 3 of your key players are minus defenders already. And you know, as far as if we're talking about contending, that's not a good remedy if we're talking about contending. Like, so you're putting all that on Patrick Williams and whoever the point guard is. And we're talking about a point guard. You got these bigs that can't defend. What the hell is a point guard going to do switching off on a big? I don't think it's a sound remedy. Again, Larry has a lot of potential. I think I can safely say there's not a chance in hell he's going to reach it. You know what I'm saying? It's just not, and especially here. I think it's time for him to get a change of scenery, and I don't think you should put any money in him because the answers aren't necessarily on this roster. Maybe Kobe can be a guy that is a sixth man or a value player on a team that's contending. But really, outside of that, there's not many guys you need to keep on this team out of the guys that we know they're going to keep: Vooch, Zach, Patrick Williams, you know, and Kobe for a couple more years to see. Now that he's starting again, and you can see that they're probably giving him another look. But outside of that, these aren't championship players. You're going to have to flip a lot of these guys or just bring in guys to replace these guys. This isn't a team that has the pieces where you like, man, they just one guy away. Getting to what what Josh was saying. They need a stud, Shawn. Like they still dude. Again, Kay Cunningham could change the fortunes of this organization if they were lucky enough to jump up into the draft and get a guy like that, a guy that can score at will and run a point guard position. You know, I won't use the comparison of Luka Doncic that he's been compared to because I think that's a bit heavy. Because I don't think you're giving proper respect to Luka Doncic with that, let alone the physicality that Luka Doncic brings to the NBA. But still, if you can get a stud like that. Then these guys that you're talking about, some of these guys can stay around because now you got a guy that's like, oh yeah, he's not going to be right there, but he's going to grow into being like that. But you can't depend on all these guys to get us where we want to go, man. It's the proof isn't in the pudding, in my view.
Yeah, I mean, you can't hit the nail on the coffin with that. I mean, at this point, you want to talk about connections and things of that sort that the Bulls have per se. Your only best bet that I can really think of, especially if we want to talk about a superstar stud, that could potentially, and it's so far-fetched, because potentially really is far-fetched with anything when it comes to the Bulls and trying to get top-tier free agents. But you talk about maybe someone like a Bradley Beal, who maybe wants to get out of Washington on the low, and he has that connection with Billy Donovan. He loves Billy Donovan. He potentially can be that guy where people want to flock to, especially when you talk about pairing him with Zach LaVine. That's your best option, but that's not what the Bulls need per se. They actually need someone that can run an offense. They need someone they need big men help that actually have versatility. They can rebound, that can defend. The only ways you can solve that at this point is if you keep someone like a Daniel Diaz that could potentially help. They need someone that has some dog in them. They need someone that's going to be tough, that's going to be rough around the edges. They need someone that can be physical. They need all these components that these other role players don't provide. So only ways you're going to get that is if you look into the free agent market, especially from a point guard position, which is very limited when you're actually talking about an actual point guard that actually runs and facilitates an offense that Billy Donovan loves. And then you talk about a big man department that's kind of limited, but it's not going to provide what you already probably currently have that's already even better than that's what's going to be in the free agent market or even in the draft. So you're stuck. And when you're stuck, you have to just just make things work. And that's pretty much where the Bulls are at right now. The only way I can see them maybe even get better is if they were to make a big trade, like for like a Bradley Beal or someone of that caliber, or they just, like you said, jump up in the draft to get, if you don't get a Cade Cunningham, you got to get someone like a Jalen Suggs.
Let me ask you this. This is the problem even with, if you look at Bradley Beal, what would you be giving up? Because you got to match the contract money, all right, depending on when you make the trade. So, like, they're not going to want Zach. They're not going to want – like, they're giving up Bradley Beal, they're going to want someone that they can view as a quasi-star, just like they're giving up to you. So, it's just a conundrum when you look at kind of what they're in. And again, kind of like what Zach is. I mean, I don't know why I keep calling you Zach. Josh, my man, Josh. I got Zach on my brain, Josh. I apologize to you, sir. I apologize. But the thing is, you just gotta hope that they can jump up into that top four, which again, it's not far fetched. That can solve.
Then what?
Then you in some trouble. Listen, you in some trouble.
Which is exactly why
you're gonna get. But listen, if they don't, Shawn, you're gonna get what you want. You're gonna get what you want. But let me say this: you're gonna get what you want because they're probably gonna go after Lonzo Ball if they don't jump up and if they don't get that draft pick, right? But keeping Laurie, how does that get you closer to a championship?
It can, because here's what you do: you develop him, and here's one you get him into it. And if you can't go get a superstar, okay, then you develop Lowry to the point where he becomes a package deal or comes trade bait, where someone say, okay, well, we'll get this and your first round pick, we'll take Lowry, this guy, and a first round pick. Keeping Lowry has a lot of benefits. Just because you keep him and sign him to a long term deal doesn't mean he has to play out that deal. Okay, you can get him to the point where we've seen Lowry. We've seen, there's times we're like, whoa, what the hell has it gotten to Lowry? He looks like a baller today. And then the next 4 or 5 games, he just goes back into his shell. If they can get him out to start playing like a dog in 2 or 3 games in a row, and then go back into his shell, then 2 or 3 in a row, the more games where he's aggressive, then that's fine. Put that on the development department. That's what it's there for. Okay, there are people who had careers. Kawhi Leonard, when he first got to San Antonio, he was okay, he had to defer to everybody, and finally he was able to grow with guys there. Let Lowry grow. Let Lowry grow. How dare I what? Give you an example of a player.
No, Kawhi Leonard always showed you the potential. One, he was a defensive specialist. He was always out there giving you the defensive specialness of himself, and then his offense grew. It was never a question of him not having dog in him. We've had 4 years to know that Lowry does, and I agree with your point of this, that it would be nice if you could use him as trade bait. But the problem is you're going to mess around and get Bertrand, and I can name several other players where he was decent, he long and length and could shoot, and then the next year he was poo-poo. Listen, I don't even have to use Europeans. I could use Otto Porter. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason, to be honest with you, to give that dude a nice bit of check, because chances are you're going to be using him as a trade asset, but it's only to match money, and the other team ain't really going to want him like that. They want something else that you're giving them as of right now. I'm just going off of what he's shown us.
It worked for Otto Porter. Somebody took Otto Porter's contract, and that was us.
Unfortunately, it was very unfortunate, and it didn't work out.
Exactly. So if that's the case, someone's going to take Lowry's contract in a situation. Trust me, there's 30 teams. There's 20 other teams that you get, because you only need one. You don't need 15 teams that want him. You just need one. Because Otto Porter came and he didn't do anything for us here. He was when he was healthy. I should say, because he wasn't healthy. So Lowry, same thing. He had to deal with injuries a couple of seasons, 2 of his 4 seasons, and then he had to deal with what's his name?
Jabari Parker. We're getting back Jabari Parker in this situation. If we're gonna use the Otto Porter trade, that's what we. So let's hold on to Lowry so we can get Jabari Parker back. Like, it just get out of it. Just get out of it. It's just there's no reason to stay in this dysfunctional relationship.
Anyway, I guess we're gonna agree to disagree, because I think this guy could be developed. I
need one too, Kenny.
Hey, Josh, great stuff, buddy. Do me a favor though, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Josh M. Hicks Media, and We Are Regal Radio, War Media, weareregalradio.com, War Media on all social media pages, YouTube, you name it, as well as all podcast platforms, War on Anchor. In the scope.
Definitely.
Excellent. Hey, thanks a lot, buddy. I appreciate it, man. We'll be in touch soon.
Most definitely. Y'all be easy.
All right now. Guys, we got to take a quick break. That was Josh Hicks talking Bulls basketball. On the other side of the break, me and Ken are going to go at it. We're battling it out. But I think we're going to be on the same side with this one. We're talking Bears, man. I want to get his take on it and go freaking Bears. Bear to freak down. That's what I'm talking about. Some Bears talk. Woo! On the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
AutomotiveMap.com presents SportsZone Chicago. The Blackhawks got a third-period goal from Riley Stillman to pull even with Carolina last night before Alex DeBrincat scored his 29th goal of the season to win it for the Blackhawks in overtime. With the win, the Blackhawks snap a 6-game skid as they beat the Carolina Hurricanes. Chicago has 2 games left in the regular season. They are home games on Sunday and Monday against the Dallas Storms. NBA last night, the Bulls winners over the Hornets in Charlotte, 128-99. In the win for Chicago, Nikola Vucevic had 29 points and 14 rebounds to lead 7 in double digits for the Bulls. The Bulls now 27-39 on the year. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. I'm John Thayer on 1330 and 95.9 SportsZone Chicago.
Mother's Day is this week, and JCPenney's got amazing gifts for mom. It's her time to shine, so get her select $15 lab-created white sapphire jewelry. Or Thursday to Sunday, save on Mom's Day deals. Select Liz Claiborne apparel, accessories, and home are up to 40% off. And save extra with a 25% off coupon. Celebrate the woman who does it all. JCPenney. Offers and coupon valid through 5/9. Some exclusions apply. $15 jewelry excluded from coupons and rewards. See store or jcp.com for details.
For the ones standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner. Offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger. For the ones who get it done.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. I'm sitting here with my guy Kenneth Davis, who's sitting with me from the 10 to 11 o'clock hour. We just got off with Joshua Hicks from We Are Regal Radio, talking Bulls basketball, and man, I just don't, Last statement before we move on, and I want to talk Bears because I'm fired up about it. I just don't think you. I think you maximize your resources and see what you can do. And if it doesn't work, then you move them on. But
there's also cap space. Now, remember, during the summertime, you can trade. You don't have to necessarily match money for money if you have open cap space, and that's one thing that you can get out of Laurie not being on this team. Perhaps you can trade and get a player if a team is willing to ditch a player and trade into that cap space that the Bulls may have. Listen, I want the best for him, but I think we just have to be realistic with what we've seen. I mean, he really hasn't been on a tear. I think this year he had a second, but not like how he had his rookie year. This dude really hasn't been the dude he was his rookie season, and I know you can blame Jim Boylan for that, but you still knew that Zach was during the Jim Boylan era, and Zach still made improvements incrementally defensively during that era. So even with Jim Boylan being there, it's still on the player to a certain degree. He's a pro, and I mean, it just hasn't been the thing. And it really just comes to, it's not talent, it's desire. And Laurie doesn't have that burning fire to get him to go to the next level as of yet. And I don't think you need to. And another thing is too, this isn't the regime that drafted him. So you're not trying to prove yourself right. And we've seen from them willing to trade him throughout this year, that they don't see it in him. I just don't have any quarrels with the fact that if he walks and somebody wants to give him some money, great for him and his family. But the long-term future of the Bulls, he's just the guy. That's the thing too. Laurie's just the guy. I thought this after Laurie's rookie year. I was like, that kid is untradeable. Man, I was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like that kid was damn sure tradable, and too bad we couldn't have traded him that year when his potential, the ceiling of his potential was extremely high. At least that's what we all thought. He's not that guy, you know, and so there's no reason. I wish, believe me, this last year I was all in, like, give him another year. But like, and then this shit, even they offered him money and for him not even to take it. He hasn't proven jack shit in the NBA to come off like that. I mean, I'm happy he feels like that about himself. And like you said, somebody will probably do the dance with him. It's 32 teams, but I'm fine if our team isn't the team to do that dance, because he's proven that he's not going to be a guy that can go out there and get you 20 points and get you almost double digits in rebounds consistently. It's not in him. We know he's not the rebounder that he should be. He's never going to be the defender. Physically, he should be a better defender than what he is. He's not even a guy with his skill set that's a guy that can really get it off the dribble the way he should be able to get it off other bigs on the dribble. Like, Laurie has so many tools in his tool sack that he doesn't even use, or he hasn't even grown, that I just have no faith in him being a star level or a consistently good player, particularly in a Bulls uniform.
Isn't that what coaching does?
Not all the time. Not all the time.
But isn't that your job as a coach, to bring out the maximum, the best of your player?
To try.
So my thing,
if that player doesn't have it,
true. But we don't know if he has it yet, because we've seen plenty of flashes. In addition to injury, I mean, let's not get it twisted. After his first year, you're right, he looked like a freaking stud. But then he got injured, his elbow right before he had the injury. Then he comes back and Zach's kind of taken over. Then he gets injured again. The second year in a row, he's been injured. I honestly think, again, I wouldn't want to. It's not like we haven't seen him take over a game. It's not like we haven't seen him score 30 points. It's not like we haven't seen him score, 20 and 10. We've seen that. It's just not consistent. So if I'm looking at a guy, I'm like, dude, if I look at Felicio, it's like, I see him. Okay, that's not even. I mean, we understand what he is, but we understood at that point, like, we've never seen anything that gave us any glimmer of hope for Felicio. None. He just collecting a huge paycheck. Okay, but we've seen it with Laurie. Oh, this is what this development department does, because here come sports psychologists, and I can almost guarantee you they're going to have, in that development department, you're going to have sports psychologists, because this game is mental. Sports is mental, period. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to use my resources, because what the hell is the development department for? Okay. Use my resources. And if it doesn't work, you have them under contract, you trade them. And now you've got a nice little piece, a nice hole that you can fill with somebody else, with a star.
Now we got Jabari Parker. Yeah.
We're not going to get Jabari Parker.
But I'm just saying, if we're using the Otto Porter trade as the parameters for this, real quick, the thing is this, with the development, and hoping that the development can change Laurie. If the professionals, you mentioned Mark Eversley and Arturas Karnisovas, they implemented this development department that the Bulls didn't have, and it's stronger and all that. If they thought they can get Laurie to the place where Laurie could be, they would have been willing to trade him. Them themselves would be like, you know what, our development department is going to kick this kid up. We got us something here. They wouldn't be out there risking trading him and losing out on him. They know that the development department can only do so much, and particularly with a player that's been in the league as long as Laurie, that's shown habits of he doesn't burn hot enough. I mean, if your own president and general manager are willing to get rid of you and they believe in their development department, it's saying something about you.
Here's another thing I could say is, maybe they're thinking maybe people are going to want to trade for his potential. And that's why, like, you know what, he's not doing it for us now. Okay, maybe we get someone else who's a similar thing who needs to change the scenery. I'm just not going to stray away from the fact that
they're willing to trade him, Shawn. I mean, regardless, they're like, we're done with this kid, basically. That's what they're saying.
They're trying to get someone else who could help now, because there's nothing wrong with developing your own players. And you know what? They haven't had a chance to develop because of the fact that he hasn't had a full offseason. This is the first year with this development department. There's that just because they're willing to trade someone doesn't mean that they can't come back and figure it out. It doesn't mean that. So, again, we're obviously going to say on opposite sides of the fence. No, hold on. No. So just because we're on opposite sides of the fence doesn't mean that this guy can't come back and be an all-star.
You're totally right.
I agree with you that he's got to have it in himself, because we've seen games where he's I don't know, something's gotten in Lowry where you look at him and like, wow, that's the guy that we need on a consistent basis. So if he shows it in flashes, then it's there. Their job is to make sure they get it consistently, because not just once every 2 or 3 months.
And they know they can't get it consistently, and that's why they was offering him a trade. Now, real quick to your point of they haven't had enough time with them. Guess who they had enough time with? Wendell Carter, Daniel Gafford, Chad Hutchinson. They already know their guys. And Lowry was another guy that they was willing to move out. He's not one of their guys. Like they've already shown us, all right, we've had enough time to figure out who we're keeping, who we're getting rid of. And he's been on the who we getting rid of list. Again, I would love for it to flip around and for him to get to the point of where we thought he was after his freshman year. But with having so many seasons, him being injury prone, because that's another thing too that you said, but he's injury prone too. All right. It's just no reason to invest in Lowry. It's a sunken cost. You just got to let go of it rather than doubling down on it, in my opinion.
Lowry sounds, the way he's being described here with you guys, he sounds like Mitch. He sounds like Mitch. He sounds like, oh man, he's did
he
this.
He don't want no Justin Fields. He don't want no Justin Fields, Ivan. Remember, this is the Mitch man right here. Well, let me put it this way. This is the Mitch man right here. He don't want that Justin Fields, Ivan. He want to stay with Mitch.
Am I wrong, Ken, or am I wrong? Like
no, that's exactly how he sounds. He's a lover. That's Italian Shawn, right? He's a lover. When he's the player is drafted by his team, he's a lover. He's like, I'm with you, and that's fine. I get that. You always love the players drafted by your team, but sometimes, man, you got to realize it's not gonna happen. And with that kiddo, it's not gonna happen. Yeah, shake that head. It ain't happening over there. This is just it, Mitch. Young Lowry Mitch. Sorry, Italian Shawn.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We agree to disagree.
Disagree. That's what's fun about this. That's what's fun about this. And listen, you won Monday. You won Monday. I came on here. We did actually talk about the rest of the draft picks. To let you know, I came on here and I was saying, Charles Leno Jr. and you sent me the picture. That was the first time I saw when you sent me the picture. Listen, this is how great. This is great. Dude,
I played football a long time. What the hell did I say on Monday, dude? I don't remember.
So Monday we were debating. I was saying that just to have a body around, I didn't think they need to release Charles Leno Jr.
Keep him around for a
year.
I
went on about that. We agreed to disagree, and guess who Ryan Pace agreed with? You. All right, and sent me the picture. You sent me the picture of the alert that he had been released, right?
Oh yeah.
Right, you sent me the picture of the alert. It was like 15 to 20 minutes after. It was like 15 to 20 minutes after I got off. I was like, my bad. I apologize. Right, like I guess I was wrong. Right, like yes, I'm not on here like, man, when I said that means it's fact. No, these are my opinions, right?
No,
these are my opinions.
I'm not saying what I'm saying is right. Other people just don't believe it and follow through. They make the wrong decisions. I'm just saying. They may think differently. They make the wrong decisions. Okay. You know how your parents tell you, hey, you know what? Don't hang out with this guy. Mom, but he's cool as hell. Okay, don't hang out with this guy. He's trouble. And your ass gets locked up in jail. I thought I told you, but you want to do your own thing.
You want to do your own thing.
I did tell you, but you want to do your own thing. Well, let's get to it. Speaking of the Bears, you're right. I forgot because you were on Monday, but I still want to harp on this because I am in heaven. You know what? Hold on. Let me go put my Bears jersey on. Oh.
It does too. Listen, I can't believe I said this yesterday. That yesterday was the anniversary of Justin Fields being drafted by the Bears. It seemed like that was 3 days ago. I was like, it's been a week. It was like it's been a week since they drafted Justin. Like it's been so fresh. But listen, so had Eric Edholm on the show yesterday. Right?
I reached out to him. He's gonna come on because I saw that. I'm like, dude, he's good. He's really good.
That's my dude right there. Been down for a long
I didn't know he
time.
was in Cary. I didn't know that. He's out here in Cary.
Oh, you mean out in this?
Yeah,
okay.
I was like, dude, my boy lives in Cary. One of the guys I played at Thunder with.
I know he stays out. He said he was in the boonies yesterday.
Yeah, that's boonies.
Okay. But yeah, just going over some of the guys. Listen, tackle wise, Tevin Jenkins, your left tackle. All right, like it better work. I'll tell you that, and nobody better get hurt because I'm telling you, that's the first thing people gonna be like. You had Charles Leno Jr. And again, I'm not caping for Charles Leno Jr. He wasn't special, but people were harping on his 2019 like it was his 2020. Again, I'm not trying to revisit that debate. When it comes to Larry Borum, physically, people really like what Shorty turned into recently. You know what I'm saying? With his big tuchus, all right, is Alex from Under Center trains me how to speak my Yiddish a tad bit better. That's not a bad one. We'll see. Definitely, I don't think it'll be next year. I mean, I can't say that. That's asking a lot for a fifth rounder just come in and start at right tackle. You still have Jermaine Ifedi, who you gave the raise to. The Graham kid, people like, and Herbert,
big time.
Herbert, yeah, Herbert. And Daz Newsome. Daz Newsome, the one thing that Eric brought up is Daz Newsome was trash in the cone drill, right? And I mean, I don't know about you, Shawn, but I really, and I was a lineman. I loved the cone drill. It was something about getting your hips moving and how you're coming around or whatever. I'm not saying that the cone drill means everything like that. You don't have to give me that face. I'm just reporting the information that Eric gave me. All right, like I'm bringing it over here to Shawn and Maya. Now y'all get the crazy face. We're bringing them the information.
You just got the gas face, bro. You just got the gas face.
I got the gas face. I got the gas face. Again, it's early. The Snowden kid, the comp that he used.
Sneaky pick, dude. Sneaky.
Yeah. The comp was Leonard Floyd was the comp.
But he's like a one-trick pony. And I'm
which is something that we've been talking about. And Mark Anderson.
Yes.
Mark Anderson. And crazy part. So on Under Center during the draft, we had Alex Brown on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Alex Brown says, and think about me and you've been talking about Mark Anderson for months. Like, dude, they just get a mark. If Gibson could be from last year's draft, if he could be that dude, or if they could just get a one-trick pony to kind of overcome Robert Quinn not doing what he needs to do, that it'll really help this defense. And so that it was funny. So I was talking to Alex Brown, and I said to him, I said, you're a really good person because you keep bringing up Mark Anderson. And one thing that people don't understand with Mark Anderson is there's levels to this, and you got a guy that's a one-trick pony, but then you end up you bench a guy or you supplement a guy who was already getting the job done. And Alex Brown was like, I'm a realist. I'm gonna be honest. He said Mark was a really cool dude or whatever, and that he knew he was gonna get his job back, that he was the better player. But that was dope because I'm like, you don't see a lot of guys sitting there and keep bringing up somebody that took their job at one point in their career, like Alex Brown was doing as far as Mark Anderson. But yeah, if that defense can get a Mark Anderson type to cover up all that cornerback position that's open right now isn't going to hurt as much. All right, if they can get the pressure, if they can get back to that front seven being what it was in 2018. All right, Goldman can come in there and do what he needs to do. Bilal Nichols is a better player than he was last year with how he had to sit there and play nose tackle. Now he's going back to being primarily a five technique guy. Dude, if Akeem Hicks can stay healthy, your defensive front seven, if Khalil Mack can get back, if Khalil Mack can stay healthy and get back to the Khalil Mack of 2018, you can do something. And then at one point, if you put in his kid in Justin Fields, and he can sit there and be stable at the quarterback position, but also give you a different look as far as what he can do with his legs. You can have a good team, even though the schedule next year is an extremely rough schedule, to say the least. But I have to say, from that draft, and the crazy thing is too, and this is another thing Eric said, I think the Bears were his highest rated draft as far as what they did with their picks this year, and we're talking about 5th and 6th round picks. I mean, we all know if you stopped at the first two, we'd all been happy and straight, right? We'd be like, all right, that's cool. We just needed 2 picks. Of course, you need
5. I would have been ecstatic.
I'm with you.
After 5, yeah. But you know what? Here's the thing. Like everyone's, people mention, oh well, the schedule next year. We don't know what the hell the schedule is.
I'm with you too.
Because how many people
teams.
when Bears were on the people's schedules in 2019, they're like, oh snap, it's that man, it's a tough one for the Bears, and the Bears ended up being. All right, there's this thing about all the teams that are getting new coaches, and so we don't know what that schedule is. The names and last year's records make it look as if it's tough, but we have no idea what that schedule is. All we know is right now is we have an extremely talented team. Okay. Because here's why I'm good with that. And I'll reiterate. Now I'm starting to come back. It's starting to come back to me. I'll reiterate what I said on Monday. You run the ball, okay? That's going to take a lot of pressure off of Tevin Jenkins and Larry Borum if he plays, or Jermaine Ifedi, okay? Because now you just can't go after the quarterback, okay? That's what Nagy has to do. If Nagy does that, this team's going to be really, really, really in a good position to make it and even win the division, because we don't know what's going on up there in Cheeseland, okay? They're in a really good position because I think we'll have one of the best quarterbacks with Andy Dalton or Justin Fields in our division. And I know who Detroit got. They just got Jared Goff. Okay. And Kirk Cousins, he's the great con man. All of his contracts guaranteed. Okay. I ain't mad at you, Papa. I'm just saying. Okay. And then you got Justin Love or whoever else they bring in if Favre doesn't go there.
Jordan Love.
Jordan, Michael, Kevin, whoever who wants to play quarterback up there. Action,
Michael,
Tyson, Jordan, done action, ridiculous.
Exactly. So I'm trying to get to. It's a Biggie line. Action, Jackson.
Tyson, Jordan, action, Jackson, ridiculous. I don't care. I think we have the best quarterback either with Andy Dalton or Justin Fields. This offense can really take some strides. You were offensive heavy in the draft. I love that Herbert kid. The more and more film I'm watching of him, I love. He is Jordan Howard with a more athletic Jordan Howard. Okay, his patience is unbelievable. I've watching his tape. I've seen him. He's waiting for the hole. Okay, boop, and then Bob's outside. All right, I can't wait any longer.
They use Le'Veon Bell as a possible.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. And he's got a little bit of speed on him too. He's not a 4.2, 4.3, but you don't need it. I don't want a running back that's 4.2, 4.3. Because if I go 100 yards, 60 yards, and boom, it's a touchdown, the defense ain't tired. I want a guy who's going to beat your ass. I want a guy who's going to wear you down. I want a guy like, damn, I don't want to hit this son of a gun again. Because when you wear people down, you take their soul. And it does things to your psyche. Because if we only had one guy was out of control, out of place. You're lucky that this guy missed up. You're lucky this guy was out of position. When a guy beats you down and like David Montgomery does, okay, and he gets you 6-7 yards. There's no. I mean, so we were lucky the 27 carries he had for 125 yards and 36 broken tackles. No, that's not luck. That's called beating your ass. That's called wearing you down. And this guy is patient. I've seen him. I watched some of his film. He's not afraid to run over a DB. Not afraid at all. He's got great hands coming out of the backfield. I like this running back room. I hope Matt Nagy uses it. We have some wide receivers now. Okay, we got the Birdman, Damiere Byrd. You have the kid from the Niners. In addition to Mooney, we got a whole bunch. Marquise. We got a whole bunch of speed on there. And now if this Jamoke decides to run the ball, do you understand how wide open or how what's his name? I can't even think of it. The Red Rifle is going to how well he's going to play. Dalton. Do you understand how well he's going to play if you run the ball? And you can say the same thing for Justin Fields if Andy Dalton gets hurt or if he truly beats him out. What's your thing, dude? How would you play him? Because I'm saying sit him on the bench unless he pulls the Russell Wilson and truly just beats him.
That's the only
truly
option.
Beats him out and say, hey, dude, I'm sorry.
Don't sit there and mess with this kid's confidence, even though he kind of seems like his confidence is close to being unshakable. You don't want to sit there and have a David Carr situation. You know what I'm saying? Not Derek, everybody, his older brother that was a Texan and gets his brains and beat in, and he's never the same guy because he wasn't necessarily protected. And I know we're saying that we hope that the protection will be better, but you need to sit there and get this kid. This kid was playing in college football. You need to get him ready for the pros. Don't force feed this kid and get him out there before he has to get out there. This is the future. It is very important that he hits the ground running and you set him up. You brought in Andy Dalton for a reason. And if during this season, And the team will know it. If he's out there and he's doing better than Andy Dalton, okay, then you give him his chance. But you don't, and this is one thing that Ryan Pace always does. Ryan Pace usually has no competition for his draft picks because he wants to give them the job instead of them having to earn the job. Let this kid earn his job. Like that's what he should have to do.
That's a crazy idea, Ken. Earn
I know, right? I know it's crazy. But let him earn it because one, it's going to help. It's going to make his relationship with the players better because they're going to be the people that witness him earning the job and him gaining their respect on how he went about getting that job rather than just giving it to him. And if he regresses, you don't want to be in a situation like Miami was last year with Tua and Ryan Fitzpatrick, I feel. You don't want to sit there and have to start him and then have to go back to Ryan Fitzpatrick because of Tua's play. Now, it's different if Justin Fields is playing and he gets hurt and you have to go back to Andy Dalton.
Right.
But you don't want to be bouncing back and forth because it leaves question. Not to say that it's ruined Tua. I just don't think that is necessarily the proper way to necessarily do it. But also that team was trying to win and trying to bring that quarterback in. So they're trying to do two things at once. So that can also be kind of difficult.
But Ken, the Bears have been acting not like the Bears. Like they called and they talked to Andy Dalton. They said, "Hey, listen, here's what we're going to do. If there's they've informed him. It wasn't like Chicken Neck who's at the draft party. Like, you drafted who? What? They draft what?
Right.
I mean, they're acting like an actual organization. Like they're doing stuff that the professional way. Like, listen, guy, Andy, you're QB1 right now, but if we get a chance to jump up and get him, we're going to do that. I just need you to know that. I don't give a damn if you like it or not, but we're out of professional courtzy. I'm letting you know so you.
The check's still clear, Shawn. The check's still clear.
Yeah, you got 10 million reasons not to be mad at us. Okay,
right.
10 million.
Clear. Check clear. And one thing going along with what you're saying, they told him when he came in here, there's a chance they may draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
So there's no lies. Yeah, he knew it.
But
so
then not only do they do that, but then they go draft the tackle. Not only do that, then they go draft another tackle. And both of these guys are freaking monsters, dude. These guys love to maul people. So, again, this is very uncharacteristic of the Bears regimes that we've seen, because we're like, damn, dude, like they did everything like what we've been telling them to do. Like, because we see it, if we see it from afar, from outside the organization, how do you not see it inside the organization? Why? You know what? Something. I don't know if I asked Phil last week or who I asked this week, like, who the hell was making those picks and who's kidnapped Ryan Pace and how long is he going to be gone? Because I like this guy that's making the picks this year.
Right. Or who's now, what scout or who's in that building now that's talking real football and not just laboratory experiments as far as the $6 million man, we can make him faster, stronger, better. All right. That used to be, what he used to want. Let me get the freakish athlete, not the football player. Who is the person that's been like, you know what, this is football. You need guys that are football players because that draft, it spoke volumes about them going in a different direction from the past.
Yeah, it did.
It was what you needed. That wasn't sexy. Getting a tackle, something that Ryan Pace has put no draft equity in whatsoever because it wasn't sexy, and he was basically doing a Seattle Seahawks impersonation of trying to pull out scraps with the line, even though let me bring that back. He did draft two guards. I'll give you that. He drafted two good guards. I have to give him props for that. But outside of that, you have to get a tackle. Also, John, I saw what you said earlier. I'm totally agreeing. But yeah, it feels good to be a Bears fan for this short amount of time, man.
Hey, you know what? Real quick, let's put in let's call in the wishbone offense, man. A guy who's going to be with us on the other side of the break, man, and a guy we all know very well. Samo? He is the man, the myth, the legend himself, DDP, man. Bang! Himself. Let's bring him out, our boy, Phil Atoshin. Phil, what's up, Papa? How are you? Don't worry, we got your intro on the other side of the break. Don't worry, that's not going anywhere.
Give me a tackle or give me death, Kenneth. That is going to be a T-shirt at the Tape Never Lie. You two guys were on the show
when it happened.
When it happened. Real time, real emotion. I'm just upset with Kenneth not shouting me out.
Let's go, Jenkins.
That's confirmed from Adam Schefter also.
Give me a tackle or give me death.
It's got to be.
I can't believe Kenneth didn't shout me out on Under Center podcast with me with that.
I apologize. I've been holding back my shout outs on there as I ingratiate myself over on that side.
No, you are.
I think I did actually mention. I did actually mention Shawn, though. I think
Yes,
I
you
mentioned
did.
you, Shawn.
You
Well,
did?
you were coming. You're coming. Yeah, I mentioned you because I was talking about the Charles Leno thing when you sent me the text. Don't worry, you're gonna hear yourself on that, Phil. It's coming.
all good. I know
No,
Adam's afraid of me or something. These guys.
no, you know what? No. Let me not say that.
Yeah.
I have not had the chance to talk to Adam about coming
Okay.
on. Just not that, so I can't even put that on him because he hasn't really been on there. He was on there a couple times, but I was late to come to the show and my internet wasn't working initially because I was
Still
they were
got
about
this
to
internet issue.
No, I
Jesus.
got actually the guy came out yesterday. I got a guy
Fixed it up.
Cable guy came out. I was in the garage
Cable
last night. And
Cable
the signal was so strong last week, but yeah, so it's been a
It's
situation
all about
that
the upload on this
Yeah.
StreamYard thing. Trust me, I've had the same.
I remember you had that issue, dude.
I was
Telling me.
calling them. I'm like, I'm paying all this money. What is going on? So they had to stabilize the upload speed because anyway, that's for the blog boys. They can talk about that. We're going to talk about God, I love you two both. Still, I love you. The whole
Glad it hasn't changed in a week. Thank goodness.
No, the whole dynamic of this, what you guys were talking about, the football first mentality that I've been preaching for years now, against what Kenneth, you eloquently put it, the experimentation of possibility. My father would always say, you can't win with potential. You just don't.
Potential. There's an old saying, potential gets you fired.
Exactly. Like you
see Larry marketing about that, Shawn.
All I know is Ryan Pace, patron number 222 on the TTNL network, did what we talked about. Get football players, get a quarterback, trade up, get a quarterback, give me 2 tackles, get rid of Leno. Checked all those boxes. So my scouting report on Ryan Pace has gone up exponentially because he's recognizing football first, then everything. Guys like you and Kenneth, you guys know this game is about what starts up front. It's not cliche. And then just destroying what as a white kid from Connecticut that played this game, I always spoke the truth. I'm so sick and tired of my Chicago Bears passing on black quarterbacks, whether it was coincidentally or not. It was the reality of what transpired, and any bigot that sat there and said anything differently and how it affected this community, this country, and the world, really, as Chicago Bears fans, that was put to bed as well. So it just feels right. You know what I'm saying? It just feels right. And I don't think I've ever had a Chicago Bears feeling over 4 days, because the Leno thing was just like, that's
the buttermilk icing on the cake.
Oh my God. I wrote it. We literally went into the studio, me and Cool Kennedy, and had to write a song about it. And we freaking crushed that song too. And him and every troll. I don't know how this guy, the cult of Leno, I call him. Like, the tape don't lie. It's the reality. It's
a good name for a network.
It is, right? No, but you guys know, it's like you're watching this game, like you want every play to mean something. This is professional football.
That's good shit right there, Billy Smo. It just feels right.
It just
Oh yeah, that is good. That is good.
There you
That
go.
is a nice one. He checked out before I came on. I didn't get to meet Burley Samo, especially how he was coming for me about a month ago. He checked out before I came on Tape Never Lies. I wanted to meet you, all right, from the UK. I was like, he just checked out right before I was coming in there. So you got to have me on there when Bellissimo's on there just so I can meet him.
We're going to have you on. We're going to have a celebration before camp. And I have both shots, so I'm able to travel and go to Chicago. So I really want to get this together in person with you both, because it's the reality of what it is we're doing. I know Ryan Pace and Nagy. I know and was confirmed that they listen, they hear what we're saying, and the proof is in the pudding. Now we just got to worry about Nagy and the negativity. He's just got to do what, Shawn, you're saying. It all starts with number 32.
Run the God blessed
that
ball.
That
Period.
That is the penicillin.
That's it.
For Red Rifle and Justin and that offensive line. You just changed the whole attitude along that offensive line. We had Larry,
some bitches.
We had Larry Borum come on our show on Wednesday, and that kid is cut from the same cloth as Jenkins. So you could see that the Bears scouts really, especially probably with Juan Castillo, because we had our friend Steve Edwards, former Bear, who was coached by Juan, talking about Juan and what his expectations are of his tackles. And they got to be nasty. They got to be athletic. They got to play to the echo of the whistle. These things are the anti-Leno. So he got guys that do that. When you watch the tape, you know how I felt about Jenkins. You both got your eardrums hurt when we selected him. But it was like, wow, they really are going after this to change the identity and the whole culture of this offense, because for years, I mean, years and years, everything's been about the defense and the attitude there. And you've done great with that, but you're always short. Just like me. I'm never going to grow any taller.
You know what I love about it is that they had a good identity, or good with that run game last year. They had a good identity, but they didn't have guys who came out and talked about smashing you in the freaking mouth and burying you in the ground. And that's okay. That's okay, because that's fine. They did a great job, because you don't just gain 1,100 yards in the NFL, especially after not running the ball so much in the first half of the season. Thank you, Coach Nagy. To have him run that to be able to run the ball, you have to do your job, okay, and you have to be nasty and aggressive. And Alex Bars, he's got a little edge, Cody Whitehair.
Yep. James Daniels.
Daniels was hurt, but even so, those guys.
Like I was playing at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
James Daniels.
So their ability to run the ball. Okay, like I said, they move people. Okay, because we got to the point last year when we saw that David Montgomery wasn't breaking tackles in the backfield.
Right.
He didn't have to do that anymore. He's breaking tackles at the second level or the third level oftentimes. So now you get those two bookends who are just going to go along with the culture, but now they're a lot more vocal. They're a lot more, hey, you know what? Let's talk about it. Because when we've all played the game. When you got a guy who talks and backs it up,
yes,
that's the worst kind of guy you want to play against, man. Because in the lesser people and the lesser part, your lesser teammates, if you're on the opposing side, it'll instill fear. It'll instill caution. Like, I'm gonna knock your ass out. And guess what? He comes and knocks your ass out. He says, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna knock. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, now you're playing cautious. Now you're Olaying tackles, okay? Because you don't want to get hit while the running back's running by.
Exactly.
To have somebody who talks the talk and walks the walk. Woo! On this offensive line, we got two of them.
You got two of them.
Man, Ryan Pace, again, I must give you all the credit in the world, my friend. Ryan Pace, props. Because I told you, if I rip you when I think you're making bad moves, I have to be the first person in line. Me and Phil are going to fight for the first person in line to congratulate him, because you did a hell of a job this draft.
Listen to this.
But Bellissimo got all the sayings down there.
I'm saying, dude, what you?
And I'm coming on.
Listen to this. One other thing. Shane had pointed it out to me this morning. Ryan Pace also played it right. Think about this. Obviously, the stories are coming out for him for Justin Fields. Obviously, he tried to trade up to 8, 9, 10. Then you got your deal done at 11. That's history, right? But think about this. As those offensive tackles dropped into the second round, he went up to get our guy, Jenkins, the guy we wanted, that we would have been okay with, all three of us, at 20. Yep. That was my focus. I was on this show on Friday. You got to get up and get Jenkins. It's in the open of our last show with me and Shawn talking about it.
Yep.
And he did it, right? But here's on top of that, guys. When Ryan Pace went up, 8 of the next 17 picks were offensive tackles.
Yep.
So he played that right. Get the best one, and he did it right. And
you had the best, you got to give the rest.
Exactly. You did it right. Ryan Pace deserves so much credit for how those two pillar pieces that we've talked for years that have been missing since John Tate, you've not had a left tackle. In the last 8 years, Ryan Pace hadn't drafted a tackle, an offensive tackle in the first 5 rounds in 8 years. That's with Phil Emery on top of that. So to finally put your investment where it all starts and getting these two animals, I mean, I'm going to break down. Obviously, I broke down Jenkins. I think it has like 18,000 views on our YouTube channel. I'm going to break down Larry Bourne so you could see, as Berlissimo will tell you, how talented that kid is. We actually broke him down live on the draft show. But the reality is you got to be ecstatic where the Chicago Bears have put their draft investment and really have moved on and told everybody and their brother, listen, your stats don't mean anything. The tape does. And we got to get football players in here to change this whole dynamic of our offense. And now it's up to Nagy, who's already came out and said he's going to call the plays and he's going to be the play caller. So it's up to him to really put his ear to the Shawn Sierra, Kenneth Davis, and draft Dr. Phil and really focus on running that football and getting that going. Because I think that person right there, David Montgomery, is going to be, he's elite. Stud. So he's a stud. Now you're giving the stud the tools to shut up all these fools. Where's Mr. T? Pity the fool.
Hey, great stuff, man. We gotta take a break. Hey, Ken, awesome stuff, man. You have a good
Ken,
weekend.
You doing you too,
man.
Hey,
y'all have
you doing
anything? Love you too, bro.
Anything Ronalicious this weekend or?
A Tuesday is when my 2 weeks after my second shot is Tuesday. So I may see my mother this weekend since it's Mother's Day.
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
God bless.
But also, that's probably going to be the only thing right now that sticks out. But after next week, I'm in the streets.
You're in the streets,
right?
huh?
I'm in the streets. After next week, I'm back in the streets. I got to start getting my workout plan, get some of these this pandemic pounds off of me. I got to bring the sexy all the way back. So that's
don't hurt
that's
him, though. Don't hurt him. Be careful.
I have to, man. I gotta hurt. Gotta hurt a few of them. I gotta get my Italian Shawn. I gotta get my Italian Shawn on. All right, I have to. Life is too short. But yeah, you two have a great weekend, Ivan. You too, Berlissimo, all you guys, man. I'll see you guys on the other end, man.
I see you on Monday, Papa.
No doubt.
Happy Mother's Day to your wife,
guys. We gotta take a quick break, and on the other side of the break. More of the Superback and the Draft Dr. Phil and the two-back set coming up next. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
Get out while you can. Don't get a sucker no statue. Give him guts. I told you I wasn't going away. You got your shot. Now give me mine. Why don't you get the hell out of there? Shut up, old man. I ain't going nowhere.
AutomotiveMap.com presents SportsZone Chicago. The Blackhawks got a third-period goal from Riley Stillman to pull even with Carolina last night before Alex DeBrincat scored his 29th goal of the season to win it for the Blackhawks in overtime. With the win, the Blackhawks snap a 6-game skid as they beat the Carolina Hurricanes. Chicago has 2 games left in the regular season. They are home games on Sunday and Monday against the Dallas Stars. NBA last night, the Bulls winners over the Hornets in Charlotte, 128-99. In the win for Chicago, Nikola Vucevic had 29 points and 14 rebounds to lead 7 in double digits for the Bulls. The Bulls now 27-39 on the year. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. I'm John Thayer on 1330 and 95.9 SportsZone Chicago.
Mother's Day is this week, and JCPenney's got amazing gifts for mom. It's her time to shine, so get her select $15 lab-created white sapphire jewelry. Or Thursday to Sunday, save on Mom's Day deals. Select Liz Claiborne apparel, accessories, and home are up to 40% off. And save extra with a 25% off coupon. Celebrate the woman who does it all. JCPenney. Offers and coupon valid through 5/9. Some exclusions apply. $15 jewelry excluded from coupons and rewards. See store or jcp.com for details.
For the ones standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Shit goes downhill. You would think guys would fucking pick up their game. And
they're not going to have a $39 million cap hit for a guy who's not there.
Yo.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. You know what that intro is. That's what my guy, man, the draft doctor Phil himself. This is a two-back set, and we're talking a little. We're talking a lot of Chicago Bears football right here. And you said you're in the studio. You're in the kitchen. You're in the lab. Cooking. And apparently, here's what you came out with.
Oh, yeah.
Leno is gone. Thank God. Oh God. Leno is gone. Go have Chipotle, Charles. We gotta build the freaking lines. We gotta invest on the offensive line. It all starts up front. You heard my father say it. There's nobody in this world I respect more when it comes to football and offensive line analysis than my dad. And he's like, there's just no way you could win with that guy.
Leno is gone, 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 they moving on.
Block boy think he's agile, but he leans slow with no hand punch. I'm so glad that his time is up. He's only good if your team's up on tech mode. His wife thinks she ghetto, but she tried to backpedal like Leno on that run play. 72 vacations on Sunday. Speed bumps push over like Hyundai. More loafs on tape than double A. They cut him, I love him. Now 100 crew see me catch and feel it. Sick of Leno stealing. I'm just high like Audio and Lionel. I'm dancing on the ceiling.
Leno is gone, 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 they moving on. Yeah. Bye-bye. Blog boys, they cry. Pace finally replaced Leno with Blom and Jenkins. Fuck PFF and they rankings. He wasn't great, he was okay. He let an edge rusher by like Olay, but he was soft like sorbet. He ain't wanna win, all he wanted was Chipotle. Extra meat guacamole. You can find him on the ground from the last play. Couldn't even keep his shoes laced. QB killer with a sad face. He should have been in last place. He was stealing money, no contact. Hope he saved his money from that contract. Not a Leno coach, don't know how to act. They cut Leno off the line, no slack. Leno is gone, 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 Leno is gone. They moving on.
You're showing the head coach there, and you're saying we're getting an attitude adjustment on the front offensive line, and we're going to come out and build off with character up there and an attitude. And Charles he doesn't have it.
That was that courtesy of the Tape Never Lies Network. We got to give you that credit, dude. That was awesome. That was hilarious. That was hilarious, and and it's
I knew you would
unfortunate.
enjoy that.
It is fire, that track, but the reason it's fired because it's true. That's the bottom line. It's true, and you know what?
Exactly.
Truth. Things are funny because it's true. Things are hilarious because they're true. All right, and that's the truth is the biggest comedic remedy in anything, and he wasn't there. It wasn't in his heart. That's what it was. It wasn't in his heart, because having an attitude is your heart, is your desire, and he didn't have it. And I'm sure he's a nice guy, okay,
Yeah.
but you just weren't what we need on the offensive line. I'm happy for him that you're able to make some generational wealth. You got another contract and everything, but the time has changed. Time for you to go has been gone, but you know what? It's here. We got some new talent. We got some guys who are dogs. And one of the things I was saying earlier about the Bulls, okay, was that we don't have guys in practice, okay, who put their foot in your ass like Michael did, or like Kobe did, or like Magic did. Okay, we don't have, and when you got guys like that who push you, the games are easier. We got guys here. Trust me, they're gonna get into scuffles with Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn, because first of all, these guys are gonna want to test these rookies. And second of all, these rookies are gonna have to say, "Hey, rookie, you're a stud. You're gonna be a Hall of Famer, Khalil Mack. But I got mad respect for you. But I'm coming at you." And that's and iron sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron. I think that's those training camps, which really pisses me off. Why they're not in Bourbonnais again? And I know a lot of teams are doing it, but imagine if this
oh my God,
draft class was at Bourbonnais, and we get to go down there and watch it. Because at one point I wouldn't even worry about the one-on-ones with the running backs and the linebackers. Give me inside zone. I'll be in that end zone, okay, on that hill, watching the one-on-ones, watching the O-line. That's what I would like to see. And now, there's only gonna be a limited amount of fans up at Hallis Hall who are going to be able to see that, because that would be, to me, that's the season. Yeah. That's going to tell me how the season's going, how it's going to go. So you know what? It's unfortunate, but the fact of the matter is we got finally got two dogs to add to that line, the bookends. And David Montgomery's probably can't even sleep. He's probably just wishing the season could start today. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
So give me your thoughts, man, on the rest of the draft, because last time we spoke, we only had Justin Fields, but we love the two tackles. Let's go a little deeper than the two tackles. Okay, let's go deeper than the two tackles, because we know that those dudes are those are maulers. Those are bulldozers. Okay, those are bulldozers, and we understand if Matt Nagy uses them right and lets them bulldoze people and runs the ball, it's going to be easy. But talk to me about the guys after that. Talk to me about the running back, Khalil Herbert. Talk to me about Newsome. Talk to me about Graham Jr. Well, how did you like those picks to fill out? And then Mr. Tonga himself. How'd you like those picks to round out the draft?
Yeah, well, first of all, let me just say this. That was a lot of fun to do that. Cool Kennedy producing the song and really going in the studio 24 hours trying to get that done for the show. And then really having that moment with you and Kenneth when they selected Jenkins. I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. Obviously, the quote, "Give me a tackle or give me death," will follow. We're going to make a T-shirt of that. And, you were a part of that. You're somebody I consider, these shows, technology, all of that brought us together. But now you're like a brother. So to have that moment, especially when me and you are so adamant about an attitude adjustment and have it happen with us there, the excitement for what is about to take place for this football team, you and I know. I think maybe the average fan doesn't quite understand how important that tackle position is, but it was I just want to thank you for coming on that and being a part of the draft coverage and being that moment with me. That being said,
it was fun as all hell, dude.
It was. That being said, after Fields and Jenkins, everything else was just gravy, because you just did what it is you needed to do. Now you got Borum. Obviously, the running back really excites me. Khalil is somebody, Shane called him a muscle hamster. I think as a perfect comment to him. He's somebody who reminds me of Dave Meggett when he was coming out of Towson State. Yeah, and he just is bulked up, small, and has an instinct and feel. He could return punts. He catches the football. He can return kicks. He's somebody I really think is going to be somebody you want to watch in camp. I don't want this type of football player to go unnoticed because I'm so high on, obviously, David Montgomery, but Tariq Cohen, we used to call him East-West Reek because he always is running East-West. He's never going North-South. And coming off an injury, this is the perfect kind of competition and protection. You're protecting yourself against, an injury or anything with Tariq Cohen. So this kid is somebody that's really exciting. The corner from Oregon, that kid is underrated. And when you're looking at Buster Screen, who I really love, Buster Screen, and he had a lot of concussions because he played the game tough. I'll give it up to him. But as you look at that nickel spot, Duke Shelley came in there, made some plays. How are they going to handle that nickel corner spot? Here's a kid that's hungry, and he has instincts for the football. So he's somebody I really am excited about after watching his tape. Obviously, Shawn, I'm taking this weekend for family and taking a break from all the breakdowns and everything like that. We let our patrons know that this weekend we're going to shut it down. But next week we're going to get hot into all the tape breakdowns of these draft choices first and foremost. The other kid, Daz Newsome, I'm telling you right now, I was a slot receiver. So I take a lot of pride in studying the tape, what it's going to take for that. Here's a kid that really is underrated. Now, people are all over the charts in regards to his 40 time, but the guy I talked to is an agent. He was at his pro day. He had his time, 4.38, Phil, legit. I trust this guy and his football acumen. So you're adding another 4.3 type athlete for what? Instead of doing replacements, Shawn, we're actually doing competition, something you and I talked to. Now, Anthony Miller, obviously there was smoke in regards to him being traded. Now I think you keep him here. You put Daz right under his ass, and you start seeing these players play to the potential they are. And don't discount the energy and the aura that Justin Fields is going to bring to this football team with the expectation of all these guys put on notice. There's a reason why Eddie Jackson tweets out. I mean, he tweeted out. There was no subtlety or kind of side comment. We finally got a quarterback.
A real quarterback.
Real quarterback. So when Eddie's saying that, it's coming from the offensive side. That's Allen Robinson talking to him. That's Anthony Miller and company talking to him. Now Justin Fields brings that level. Everybody's competition is going to go up. Daz Newsome on tape. The stem of the route, Shawn, is my critical, and I'll break it down for you fans. I'll show you stem footwork. How do you attack the stem? Because that's the creator of separation. This kid is absolutely outstanding at the stem. So that's going to give his speed and quickness the opportunity for him to compete, to get open. He also punt returns. Mm-hmm. So there's that position again. Is he going to be a kick returner? I love his twitchiness. He's somebody who really you got to get excited about. So there's three guys on top. And then the guy that I really wanted, obviously, was Jenkins. The other Phil favorite in this draft was the 7th round pick, Tunga. I always have 5 or 6 my guys. The USC safety, Hufanga was one of them. Tunga, the nose tackle from BYU. I'm telling you right now, Shawn, I know he's an older prospect, and he might have some red flags based on some sort of injury or something, but his tape, his athleticism for his size is somebody that's going to go in there and be the perfect backup to Eddie Goldman, he was somebody we didn't have. It's like getting a free agent in free agency coming back. So you get Eddie Goldman back on that D line, and then you get somebody like this in the 7th round, who I had a 3rd round grade on. That right there is quality. It's a quality signing at a position that obviously you're investing in the offense to top half of the draft. And here you go. You get a nose man in a 3-4 scheme where John Jenkins went to the Miami Dolphins. Now you got this dude coming in. I mean, come on.
Here's why it strengthens 2 positions. Okay, because now you're really fortified because you had Eddie Goldman coming back, which was going to strengthen the position again. Okay, but you solidified it because now you can rotate him and Tonga. Okay,
exactly.
But it strengthens the defensive end position because now you can put Bilal Nichols back out there where he was extremely productive in 2018. He was extremely productive in 2018, and he was coming into his own. He was going to be a monster, but then he had to move inside last year because Eddie Goldman sat out to COVID due to COVID. So you weakened that defensive end spot. You know, the depth at that particular spot in last year, you weakened that. The nose tackle position was weakened. So now these guys are going back to their original positions. And then you still have some guy named Akeem something or other who's made a Pro Bowl or 2. Okay, and now so he's there back at his position. And if if people don't think that these guys are jacked up because of the Justin Fields drafting, you're freaking nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they see Tonga, and I don't mean to be stereotypical. Okay, but when we see Pacific Islanders, those guys are tough. Those guys are strong because I wouldn't doubt if this dude benches like 600 pounds and squats 850. I wouldn't doubt it. Okay,
Dude,
because
I think his number of 225 was 36 reps. So
Jesus.
yeah,
I get 225 10 times. I did that a couple weeks ago 10 times. I was like, on the 10th one, I'm like, I don't have a spot. I better get this. So he did 36 times, dude. That's insane.
Yeah,
that's insane.
I don't quote me on that number. I believe that was the number that my buddy texted me. Fairlissimo probably could throw it, or Alex in the chat to verify that. But that was the number I believe. But the reality is, on tape, he's more athletic than you.
Yeah.
He's a pass rusher sometimes. Like, he's got pass rush. You just think of a nose man, and you're not off. My father has always said, you get a Samoan in there, you know that you're getting someone who's tough. That he's always said that, and I played with a couple, and there is it's not really a lie. Just like you said, it's the truth. Just like the song, you know, there's funny in it, but the reality was that's the tape. Tonga, his tape gets you excited, and that's in the 7th round. I was hoping we'd get him too, so that I had another one of those moments as we were covering it live where I had the big yeah yell because Ryan Pace knocked it out of the park there. I mean, talk about hitting home runs. He was like pitching a no-hitter in the World Series. That's how excited this draft is. Who was the other draft? Why am I escaping? So we got the corner. Go ahead.
That was it. I think it was the corner. We got the 2 tackles. We got the running back. We got the wide receiver. We got I think we got them all. Let me double check here. I'll tell you.
I thought I was missing somebody here.
No, we got Justin Fields, Jenkins, Borens, Herbert, Khalil Herbert, Ozzie Newsome, Thomas Graham, and Tonga. We got them all.
Ozzie Newsome. Daz Newsome.
Did I say Ozzie?
Yeah. 35. I wish we had Ozzie too.
Oh, man, tell me about it.
35 reps he did at 225. Same thing. The reality is that guy's he's going to be a stalwart along the nose guard position where, again, you're going to have some guys that have come back. I know they really like the kid from, what was he, Eastern Illinois, the kid that was on their practice squad last year. But this guy's coming in. I mean, on tape, again, I'll break him down with Barlissimo. We had done him before, but we want to do him again next week.
Tonga, you're talking?
Yeah, Tonga. Okay. We're going to break him down just so you could see just how he's not the stereotypical squatty body nose man. He has athletic and a nose for the football that you honestly don't teach. That's like you have to play the game a lot in order to understand how to have that feel for where the play's going. He's got that. And he's an older prospect, but I'm okay with 24-year-old nose guard at 345 pounds 6'4" or 6'3" and change and moving like that. That, to me, to get that in the 7th round is an absolute steal. And you got great football. Every one of these guys is a football
player. They're not a project.
Player.
They're not an
None
athlete. They're football players who are athletic. They're not athletes playing football. That's a huge difference. Again, I cannot, you cannot, it seems like, cannot stop congratulating Ryan Pace for a freaking amazing draft this year. I told you, I text my boy Mark Sadowski, the director.
Yeah, what did he say? What did he say?
He didn't text me back. I'm like, he's probably like, I heard you talking all that shit, and now you want to kiss our ass, huh? I can only imagine.
Hey, at least you're listening to us. That's all. That's it, Mark.
You know,
they deserve their lap, but the reality is, just like you said, 100% agree with Shawn Sierra. I'm not in this to criticize anybody. I criticize what I see and what I've recognized historically. When you change or you fixed, as the human condition is, you learn from your mistakes and you admit that, then I am all good with you. It's when you continue to do that stuff and project these players like Leonard Floyd and Kevin White. You projected these guys based on potential. Start drafting football players, and you did that. So you deserve Shawn Sierra's praise and everybody down the line, including myself, praising you, because now you got, like I said, you got the tools or the paints to actually paint or build whatever it is you're building. Now you can't F it up now. Now you got to go to camp with a plan. And one other thing that you said that I think the Bears organization needs to listen to us on this. Shawn Sierra is not wrong. You need to rethink this Bourbonnais thing, because you aren't getting any advantage in practicing behind closed doors. You have an opportunity to do that all season long, practice behind closed doors. There's something to be said about being able to practice in front of fans all over the world. There's no, if a scout wanted to come in from the Packers to see you, they could have done it every year. Same, you could go over there. It's so important to reach your fan base, practice with them, and allow them with them. Exactly. Allow them that interaction, because they're the ones that are paying, and they're the ones that love you, and they're the only reason why there is an NFL. So I think it's a huge Ted Phillips-like mistake to say, hey, we built this $3 billion facility, let's use it now, and not let a limited amount of, let everybody come see your $1 billion facility, because guess what? They paid for it. They paid for it. Not
dude,
you.
how packed would Bourbonnais be this year?
Oh,
how packed would Bourbonnais be this year? Oh,
you're
man.
Missing an opportunity.
And
you don't talk about it. Don't talk about how much you love the fans. Be about it. Open it back up. It's okay, just like you did with the draft. Admit your mistake. But give the fans the opportunity, as Shawn said, to interact with you. Like Greg Bragg's film guy in pads and shorts, and you're worried about them filming? Come on. Yeah. The freaking New England Patriots have won how many Super Bowls? They stream their practice for the whole world to see, because they recognize this is just practice. We're going to run a double pass here. We'll probably never, ever run it in the season. Allow your fans that opportunity to capture the moments. It's so imperative. There's nothing a little kid or a young teenager can remember more. I still remember, Shawn, being at the Jets practice and Freeman McNeil taking my hand and bringing me on the football. I'll never forget that for as long as I live.
You talk about building and seeing, and this is why it's stupid. And I'll say it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is you're cultivating the fans for the future. Okay. Because what you just said, as a kid, Freeman McNeil brings you on the field. Okay. Imagine how many guys, they give them gloves, they give them shoes, they give them sweaty ass bandanas, they give them anything. And how happy are the freaking kids? They're like, oh my gosh, they're like, it's a sweaty fucking headband. Like, what I got there from? You know what I mean? What you're doing is you're cultivating, and now they're going to want to go every year. Now they're
Exactly.
mommy, I want a jersey. Mommy, I want a jersey. I want his jersey. I want that jersey. When you have the interaction with people, yeah, you're still going to want jersey because you see him over there. But when you see him, when they're right there and you're a little kid and you see a guy who's 6'7",
Oh,
you're like,
my God.
holy cow. I was like that when I saw
Oh, my
Julius
God.
Peppers. I was like, oh, damn, dude. But
Exactly.
you're a little kid. It cultivates you're planting the seeds for the Bears fans of the future in a personal, not just because my dad was, not because everyone in my family is, and I watch him on TV all the time, and because he talked to me, because he touched me. He said, hey, how you doing, kid? What's going on? He brought me on the field. This is where you're missing the boat.
Exactly.
Because Bear fans are so passionate. And if you do that to my kid, if he did that to your kid, how much bigger of a Bear fan would you be? If Justin Fields goes over and says to your twins, hey, what's up, guys? Here, let me give you one glove and you go, one you, one shoe. Come on, man. They're missing the boat here.
It's priceless.
Yeah.
It's priceless.
Yeah.
You're missing those priceless opportunities. I know there's these old heads that go in there and they bring all this autograph
paraphernalia.
all that. There is that. But the reality, what you're talking about, outweighs that exponentially.
What they did, they put a kid zone. So from the fence, there's like a 3 feet fence. Only kids can be there, and the adults are about it.
Go right there. That's brilliant.
Yep.
And because
brilliant,
that is the reality of what I mean. It just shapes your whole foundation when you're able to meet. Like I look back on my life. I had a father that was amazing. I'm lucky, but not everybody has that. I was able to meet Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson and Barry Sanders at Walter Camp in New Haven. So I met all these stars. So it never was bigger than me. I just became accustomed to it. But if I had ever met Walter Payton, my idol, like I can't even fathom the thought of that as a young kid. It's just like, don't be greedy. Go back to Bourbonnais, give Alex Acevedo and everybody else their shot to be a part of something bigger than they believe they are. And that's really, as great as this is, when I was listening to you, that really struck a chord with me because I think you're 100% right. Because if you go and start being that corporate world and limit people and only the freaking corporate heads that have invested, Hyundai, Cadillac, and these corporations, they get their families in. That's that bullshit. I'm sorry. That's that bullshit that you're trying to. That's like drafting Justin Fields and taking him away. Don't do that. Open it up. You're 100%. There would be the most Bears fans in the history of training camp at Bourbonnais because of Justin Fields. No doubt about it. Even coming off when we won the North that year and we beat the Packers to win and we lost with the double doink, there was so much excitement in the 100th year. It would be bigger than that because this is bigger than that. Yeah.
How much money are you losing by not selling Justin Fields jerseys right there at Bourbonnais?
God.
You're going to sell a lot. You're
Shit.
going to sell a lot. But if you had all the Justin Fields jerseys at Bourbonnais, come on, man.
My God. Come on,
I mean, you talk about a stream of revenue that you're just giving up.
I can hear John Gruden in my head. Man, what are we doing, man? We got to get out there, man.
Female jerseys, men jerseys, kid jerseys. You know what I mean?
God.
Because of what you have. I'm going to text Mark, man. Be like, dude, holler at your boys.
Holler at your boys.
Get them back in Bourbonnais.
Special announcement. That would be all over the news. The Bears are back, baby. The Bears are back in every way. We're going to Bourbonnais. We can write that rhyme. We're back in every way.
Hey.
We're going to Bourbonnais. Just allow that to happen. Or at the very least, we're letting all the fans in at Hallis Hall. Don't. It's so big. It's so hyped, right? They hype it up all the time. No, I don't even know what it looks like because it's so secretive. Look at these fans in here.
Read this, Phil.
I can't. I need my glasses.
Oh, okay. I'll read it for you.
It
said I walked into the Blitz locker room back in the USFL days, and when I walked in the locker room, Walter Payton was sitting at a table, and just me and Walter in that locker room, and he asked me to get him a cup of Gatorade. Memories like that, you're never ever.
That's my boy kid. Armando.
Armando Lara. That he was my guard when I played for the Chargers. He was my number 55.
You know Armando?
I do. He's one of my best friends.
Oh my God, that's my dude. I love
Yeah.
that dude.
Well,
he told me that story.
Yeah, he came over. He came over because you were on my show. He's like, well, and I told him, you got to listen to Phil. So he came over. He's one of the guys.
See, another brother brought to me by you, bro.
Dude,
I can't wait to get together with you and come out to Chicago and do a live show. You think the fans are gonna go nuts or what? I mean,
dude, they're gonna go crazy.
I
got the perfect venue, my boy. We could do it at Output, and dude, that'll pack the place.
I can't wait, man. I've never seen anything like this between our networks, the compassion and the brotherhood, sharing the work and promoting each other. That's what it's about. That's why I think the Bears got to come just like that. Follow the lead of what we're doing. There's plenty of space for everybody, Ted. If you're truly the president, if you're truly the CEO of the Bears, I really believe you either go to Bourbonnais and make that announcement and allow these fans a glimpse of this franchise quarterback. We haven't even had this is the best quarterback we've ever drafted, ever. I don't give a shit who tells you what. He's better than McMahon. In fact, how funny is it? How ironic is it that McMahon took those shots at the Bears and they went out and took the best quarterback they've ever had over you, Jim? How ironic is that? Right?
It's crazy.
That's karma. That's unbelievable. I everybody knows, and I'll say this again. I'll say it on your show. I'm never going to change my rankings ever. That's not how I do. I don't rewrite history. I had Mac Jones. I would have taken probably Mac Jones, but I would have missed the social response that this is to the city of Chicago and every Bears fan that isn't a bigot. That is my truth. This is bigger than football. To have this kid who has the presence of a Russell Wilson, he's the only one I could think of, that iconic energy. Like, he's not a showcase of like cockiness. He doesn't showcase confidence. He doesn't showcase overjoyed. He's just present, and he's all about winning. And
what did he say the other day? I'm tired of talking. It's time to go to work. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I said hi, didn't I? Sean. I said hi. I'm here, and I got to get back to work. Okay? What the hell you want me to say?
That is an icon right there. This kid has been the number one quarterback prospect in all of football for his whole life. And he's carried that torch. And he's always been in the shadow. And then to have those other quarterbacks go in front of him.
Oh, and he's pissed.
Oh, that's just.
And we got motivation. 3 teams. We have we faced 3 teams that passed them this year.
Oh, it's so amazing.
If you didn't see, I posted on Facebook here on my personal page. I posted the Elite 11, the Nike camp, where it was him and Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, check it out because Trent Dilfer was quarterback. Yeah, and they were talking, and they did a good job of editing it because he was the number 1 quarterback, and then Trevor Lawrence was number 2. And he beat him in the first time in the 7-on-7, and then so they're like, okay, can Trevor Lawrence, get the number 1 rating by beating him the second time, and they're just going at it, and Trent Dilfer's talking. They dab it up beforehand. Yeah, it's dope.
I had the Netflix. They had the QB1. I forget that documentary, and they're only holding one. I had it on my Netflix. I've watched them all. I remember Justin Fields in that Netflix, and they took it off. Netflix is dropping the ball. You got to have all your seasons. They only have 1 season. It's your documentary.
Yeah.
Have them all on there.
You're
missing the boat on that because Bears fans would be watching that shit. It was a great showcase of who Justin Fields is as he grew up with that pressure. I remember watching. Now they had the kid from Oklahoma, what's his name? Dantzler. Oh, man. The quarterback at Oklahoma, he's the number 1 prospect.
Oh, coming for next year?
Coming next year. His story is there. You had Tate. He was at Ohio State. Tate Marins. He ended up going to Miami, but he's faltered out. You could just tell he was so arrogant. Like he was that arrogant Tate was. Morins, I believe his last name was. But you could just see how this Justin Fields was as a young man. He's the same way, Shawn.
Yeah.
And I knew he was going to be successful. So I'm excited, man. The Chicago Bears got he was technically my number 2 quarterback because I had Fields and Mac Jones 1A and 1B with Lawrence and Mac Jones 1A and B and Justin Fields number 3. But listen, I can't ever go back, rewrite history. This is a historic moment for the Chicago Bears and all of us fans, all of us, really. I can't wait to watch it, and I hope they do what we talked about today. Bring the band back.
Bring it back to Bourbonnais and run the God Bless the Ball. Exactly. I think in that order, bring it to Bourbonnais first and start running there. Because you know what? And in addition, you know what? Think of what you're doing to that community. You know what? Think of all the influx, the hotels. Yes. I mean, how many times I got to meet a lot of different writers, you know, who flew in from out of town who don't cover the Bears, but they flew in to Chicago, drove down to Bourbonnais. All right. That's awesome. They stay down there. They're there, you know, a couple of days and watching the practices. You want to talk about being able to really write about your team. Like now you're seeing it. Now you're not kind of going what you're here. You're not going off Zoom meetings. You're going off your own eye. Okay. Exactly. The eye test is, and to me, that's important because how do you expect to write true, you know, really, really truthful articles when you hear this and you hear that and you hear that? It's so much easier when you're there. You're watching it. Think of all the restaurants that that were affected, all the stores, you know, and it's just a lot of different things, all the people you affect. And someone had the audacity to say, well, it takes a lot of work to pack it up. I'm like, really? You're getting paid phenomenal. God. You know, those equipment managers, you're making $50,000, $60,000 a year.
Exactly.
Dude,
do your job.
Do you realize water boys? Do you realize that the water boys make $50,000 a year?
No, I didn't.
Water boys make $50,000 a year to squirt water in the motherfucker's mouth.
Do I have to start at the bottom?
Sign me up. Where's it at?
Exactly. Sign us all up.
I got ready. Flip it. Like
plays and do the water.
You good, Kevin? You good, Kevin? You good?
Let me get the left one too.
Khalil, you all good? You okay?
Hey, you know what? Because I'm crazy. I'm 50,000 here. I got 2 guys. Okay, never mind. That looks wrong. Never mind. That looked wrong. That looked wrong.
That'll be the open of my show next week.
That's going to be on some website I don't want it to be on. Oh shit, that's hilarious.
You guys are the best.
Hey man, thanks a lot, buddy. Great stuff as always, dude. I appreciate it. I'm glad you got the package.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm gonna rock it on Wednesday's show.
Okay.
We got Chris Zorich and David Kaplan next Wednesday.
Okay,
breaking
nice.
it all down.
Very nice.
I'll say what up to Zorich for you. I haven't seen him in years, so it's gonna be fun to see what he thinks about this Bears. I'm going to ask him about the Bourbonnais thing as well. I'm going to play this clip. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. I saw Chris. It wasn't this past summer. It was the summer before. We were at a polo match. Believe it or not, we were at a polo match.
Water polo? Or
no,
horses.
Horses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was the Oak Brook Polo Club, and they had the Prince's Polo Club from England or some shit like that. It was crazy. And a buddy of mine is into high-end production. He doesn't even call them event, he calls it productions. And he gets like stupid sponsors like Bentley and all these other things.
Oh yeah.
And it's the top notch. And so he invited me, and we were there, and I saw Chris, and I was like, hey Chris, what's up? Because I had met him a few times. So that was the last time I saw him. Yeah. So it's been about almost 2 years now since I saw him. But yeah, we saw each other at a polo match. What about
and polo?
Yeah, two Southside hanging at a freaking polo match.
What happens in polo? I'm still confused.
It's
like field hockey. What is it,
dude? Well, they're on the horses, dude. Dude, and it's crazy because I'm like you feel the horses running. Like, it scared me a little bit because I was in the out of bounds things like this big. And obviously they're controlled by the riders. Yeah. But dude, I felt them coming for the ball one time. I hear
Oh my
and I
God.
jumped back. I was like, holy shit, dude. That's a big ass horse, bro.
Oh yeah. I can only imagine. Unbelievable.
That was scary. Hey man, do me a favor, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online, bro.
Follow me on Instagram right there at Phil_Atoshin, rhymes with lotion. I always tell everybody. And right there, the patron membership with all the X's with the O's. We'll be back next weekend, not this weekend. We're going to enjoy Mother's Day weekend with our wives and fams and mothers and grandmothers. So we'll be back grinding next week. www.thetapeneverlies.com and our YouTube channel, The Tape Never Lies. Just punch that in YouTube, The Tape Never Lies. It'll take you right to our channel where this guy, my boy, Shawn, appears quite often. I love you guys.
I love you, man. Love talking football with you and your pops, man. Tell them I said hi.
I will. We'll have to have you come on. How about I bring you on? We break down the rookie running back with us.
Sounds good.
That'll be
hell
some
yeah.
fun. That'll be some fun.
Let's do it, baby. Let's do it.
All right,
man.
guys.
We'll be in touch. See you next week.
All right, brother. God
All
bless.
right,
Bye, Ivan. Love you, man. That was fun.
Peace, bro.
Leno is gone.
Later. Guys, we just got done. That was Phil Atoshin from the Tape Never Lies Network. I'll tell you what, that I love that segment with him. You know, we get to talk football at a pretty high level, and it was entertaining. And you know what? I hope he said one thing that was so on point. I really hope the Bears heard that and really reconsider Bourbonnais. You know, and they said, oh, we spent X amount of millions of dollars at Hallis Hall, and we want to use it. You use it all goddamn year, dude. You use it all goddamn year. Stop being stupid. Okay, do something for the fans. Okay, don't you have the family night, and that's nice, but you still charge $5. And don't worry, you don't charge parking because you're not in charge of the parking. They still charge you an arm and a leg for parking. You know, the park district. Do something for the fans, man. You know, people want to see Justin Fields. They want to be there. Remember, like when they first got Cutler, everybody flocked down to Bourbonnais because they wanted to see Cutler. This is a generational quarterback that we drafted, and we're gonna pour resources into. And then how many of you want to see that tackle or those tackles? Hell yeah, a lot of people. Do the right thing, man. Do the smart thing. Think of all the money that you can raise, because I don't know what the percentage goes. Like if that goes to all the jerseys and stuff, that still goes into the pot and it's divided equally. Okay, it might. Okay, or if you just if it's at your own little thing, I don't know. But there's a whole bunch of different things. Think of what it does. We talked about it with me and Phil, and what kind of connection you can make and how you're cultivating the future the Bear fans of tomorrow. Because here's the biggest thing. How many Justin Fields you guys gotta have kids 2 and 3 and 5 years old with fucking Justin Fields jerseys, and they're gonna sell out. I guarantee you they sell out Justin Fields jerseys. They're gonna say, here, we're only gonna bring 10,000 Justin Fields jerseys, and they're gonna sell out. Guaranteed. So because it's right there, it's right, you're touching it, you're seeing it, you're smelling it. Come on, man.
We mentioned that even prior to the Bourbonnais thing, and I know we're gonna close right here in a second, but we mentioned that about bringing in that youth, like cultivating the youth. You know what I'm saying? And we pointed out to what's his name in AD in LA, being a Packers fan. You're from Chicago your whole life, but you're a Packers fan. Like, what the fuck is that? So, there was obviously a problem with the Bears not being able to cultivate, young fans. You know what I'm saying? They had nothing to grab their attention. Now they do, but look where they're at. So I disagreed before. Now I'm kind of taking a step back with this whole go back to Bourbonnais. I think I agree with you. If you have your team now, you have all the talent in the world. You have the team to, you have the guy to be the face of your franchise, and nobody can see him.
Factor One asked about the wall. Isn't that a fathead, Ivan? He said, where can I order wallpaper like the one you have of Walter Payton? That's
a fathead. So yeah, go to fathead.com.
Fathead, FATHEAD, fathead.com, and you can order NBA, baseball, football, basketball, hockey, movie stars, different movies, movie characters, a whole shitload of them. You can even make your own. Factor One, if you want to make your own fathead, you can send them the pic and they'll give you one of that big. You know what's really funny, Ivan? I'm thinking about doing that for when I finally move, when I get a house, I'm gonna have a room, and I'll have one for me from grammar school, from high school, from college. I don't know if I have any pictures of me from Italy, like action, but then I'll have
right, yeah, like action.
But then I'll have one with the Thunder and the Chargers, so I have like a shitload of them all across in one room. It'd be dope.
That'd be dope. You just gotta find the pictures.
Yep. And listen, guys, we had a phenomenal show. That's the way to close off the week, and that's what I'm telling you in my my Facebook Lives in the morning on Friday from CrossFit Warehouse. Finish the week strong, and we finished the week strong as hell. That was one hell of a show. I want to thank my guest Josh Hicks from We Are Regal Radio for coming on. I want to thank Kenneth Davis for sitting in on Mondays and Fridays from the 10 to 11 o'clock hour. He's always awesome. And then obviously want to thank my guy, the draft doctor himself, Phil Toshin. What else can I say, man? People love when we talk, and it's extremely entertaining because we know what the hell we're talking about. I want to thank my guy right here, Ivan Vargas, man, for making everything run smooth and throwing some pretty cool little clips up there. And awesome. I also want to thank our executive producer, Elliot Baez, Clarence Council, who is our social media guy, my co-host at Absentia, Maya Kai. Man, so she'll be on with us on Wednesday. We're going to take a 69-hour break. We'll be back on Monday. I got some draft scouts. I got another guy from Yahoo Sports going to call in. Actually can't call in Monday. He's calling. He was texting me this morning. He said he'll call in Wednesday, so he'll be on Wednesday. So we're gonna have a lot more Bears coverage. We're gonna have more Cubs, Sox coverage. Hopefully Tony La Russa doesn't make any more stupid decisions this weekend. Hopefully, that wouldn't be a good thing. So for like I said, we're gonna take a 69-hour break. So we're gonna see you on Monday, 9 a.m. to noon Central Standard Time. So for Elliot Baez, Clarence Council, Maya Kai, and my guy Ivan Vargas.
Hey guys, great show. Thank you all for chiming in. The text line is just blowing up. It was awesome. Be sure to check out Smoke Brothers Humidor Sports Podcast tomorrow, 11 to 1 p.m. It's gonna be a fun show. We're gonna be recapping the draft, talking all types of sports, football, Bears. Should be a fun one. So check that out tomorrow, 11 to 1.
Great stuff, man. So, guys, I got two things for you. First, make sure you download the app, or make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms. All right, Facebook and Instagram, we're at SportsZone Chicago. On Twitter, we're at SportsZone Shy. Okay, make sure you follow us there, please. Okay, and make sure you download our app wherever you get your apps from. Type in SportsZone Chicago and make sure. Thanks, Factor One. We appreciate it. And make sure you download SportsZone Chicago so you can take us with you on the go. And with that, I have 2 words left for you, folks. We out.
Leno is gone. Thank God. Oh God, Leno is gone. Go have Chipotle, Charles. We gotta build the freaking lines. We gotta invest on the offensive line. It all starts up front. You heard my father say, there's nobody in this world I respect more when it comes to football and offensive line analysis than my dad. And he's like, there's just no way you can win with that guy.
Leno is gone, 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 Leno is gone. They moving on.
Block boy think he's agile, but he leans slow with no hand punch. I'm so glad that his time is up. He's only good if your team's up on tech mode. His wife thinks she ghetto, but she tried to backpedal like Leno on that run play. 72 vacations on Sunday. Speed bumps push over like Hyundai. More loafs on dick than double A. They cut him, I love him. Now 100 crew see me catching feeling. Sick of Leno stealing. I'm just high like Audio and Lionel. I'm dancing on the ceiling.
Leno is gone, 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 Leno is gone. They moving on. Yeah. Bye. Blog boys, they cry. Pace finally replaced Leno with Blorm and Jenkins. Fuck PFF and they rankings. He wasn't great, he was okay. He let an edge rusher by like Olay, but he was soft like sorbet. He ain't wanna win, all he wanted was Chipotle. Extra meat guacamole. You can find him on the ground from the last play. Couldn't even keep his shoes laced. You be killer with a sad face. He should have been in last place. He was stealing money, no contact. Hope he saved his money from that contract. Not a Leno coach, don't know how to act. They cut Leno off the line, no slack. Leno is gone, 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 Leno is gone. They moving on.
You're showing the head coach there, and you're saying we're getting an attitude adjustment on the front offensive line, and we're going to come out and build off with character up there and an attitude. And Charles he doesn't have it.